WLTC HD2 Casita, W221 DP Columbus. The Clingstones play here. Sportsvisions 92.1. You are listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Wednesday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. I am Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Daryl DJ Jones, the guy that you see on the other side of me, and so that, of course, we bounce everything off of each other. His name is Richard Holdridge. Good morning, Richard. How you doing, bud?
Good morning, DJ. Glad to be here. It's Hump Day.
Yes, indeed. Man, I tell you what, it's an exciting time in more ways than one for a lot of folks out there that are putting the work in, Richard. I know that, you get halfway there and, sometimes you just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But obviously, when you think about Hump Day, you're halfway there. And you know what? In less than 48 hours, you know what? You'll have the weekend, baby.
Cannot wait. That's what I look forward to. It's just having a nice, relaxed, chill weekend. We're sleeping in, eating breakfast with the family. It's just a great time, and I'm looking forward to it. And a busy sports weekend as well. I am excited about these super regionals coming up as the games are set. And could you believe it? Troy is hosting a super regional. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed. But I tell you what, we're not at a lack for any teams from around these parts, the teams that we cheer for, because, again, you talk about Ole Miss, you talk about not only Troy, Auburn, Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, and Mississippi State, all coming from the SEC.
Yeah, unbelievable. And you also have teams like Cal Poly, Arkansas, Little Rock. This is really the first time I've ever watched the regionals where the top two teams get taken out of the regionals. I mean, we've had half the field is actually out that we're hosting the regionals. And we're down to 16 teams. Only 8 can make it to Omaha.
Only 8 can make it to Omaha. Hey, listen, I want to do this. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody that's looking and watching and listening on, of course, Facebook as well as YouTube. We appreciate the fact that you allow us to help you get your day started. Big shout out to my lovely wife, of course, Miss Candy. She's listening. She's up and at 'em this morning again. But I tell you what, we got those guys on the front row of the Sportsvisions Morning Show, Ricky Rogers and Bobby B. Hey, man, we appreciate you all for listening, getting up. You guys motivate us. We're tasked to help you get your day started. But guess what? Somebody has to get our day started, and it's nothing better than having the guys from the front row on the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
Yeah, and I joke around because I do love Ricky and Bobby, but obviously when I say Ricky and Bobby, the first thing that pops in my head is Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, and Ralph, and Johnny. And I'm like, if we ever get anybody that with those names, and then I definitely can have fun with that. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. We love you, and we thank you for tuning in and listening to us from the very beginning.
Speaking of those guys you were talking about, Ronnie, Ricky, and Ralph, and all those, and my wife and I, we were looking at some videos last night before we went to bed, and we were watching some old videos of, New Edition, with Bobby Brown and the addition of Johnny Gill. It was, I tell you what, man, it takes you back. And also we were watching, we still on this Michael Jackson 5 deal.
Oh, yeah.
But we saw Jermaine, and actually 8 years ago at a performance that Jermaine actually had done. It was during the Christmas time because they were singing Christmas carols, but his son, Jafar, the star of the movie, Michael, his son, and then he has another son.
Yeah.
They were on stage together singing a Christmas carol, man, and that was, they all sounded and had the elements of Michael in their voices. And you know what, if you listen to Janet, if you listen to any of the guys, any of his brothers, everybody has that soft spoken voice. I mean, it's just kind of, it haunts me because when Jafar, Jermaine's son, when he talks, I mean, well, you saw, if anybody that's seen the movie, you've seen his performance. I mean, he is Michael Jackson 2.0. He's right back in your face with it. But just thought I'd mention that, Rich. I didn't know if you probably don't give a damn, but
no,
I thought somebody out there might. Miss Candy is.
Look, we talk sports on this show, but we can also talk a little pop culture, and I'm a fan of music. I'm a fan of movies, just anything that's coming out, and I really do appreciate that, and our listeners appreciate that as well.
Absolutely, and again, as I was saying many, many years ago, this Sportsvisions show, this platform is just kind of like gumbo. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a lot of sports. So I think that's the best way to sum it up because, again, it's not the typical deal that, everybody else coming on talking sports, that. We have fun. We have fun. It's a little humor. And because I said that we are here to inform, educate, and entertain you on the goings on in the world of sports. And, that might be, hey, me, Richard, they might open up the mic one day and hear us talking about your career. And, again, you're celebrated, recently retired, National Guardsman. And you know what? I'm proud of it. You're proud of it. And you know what? You got some people out there that are proud of it too.
Yeah, thank you, DJ. I'm definitely proud. And I know that there's a lot of listeners out there that are stationed at Fort Benning that I know that they're excited. Oh, I can't wait till I get to retire. And it is a great feeling when you retire. But I'm just living my second career, and I'm really just looking forward to what I have for in store. But I really appreciate just the opportunity to use this platform just to talk sports, something that I've loved doing for more than 20 years now.
All right, let's go ahead and do this as well. All of our friends out there in, of course, WLTC HD2, Sportsvisions 921 land, we love you, but it ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Hello, somebody. Richard, let's get this party started. Hey, we're broadcasting from the PMB studios in beautiful Midtown Columbus, only a 40-yard dash down from the Aflac Tower, Richard. And I tell you, we're here in the pride and joy of course, the Chattahoochee Valley, the only live and local sports talk show. Hey, we don't even have to say sports talk. Just the only live talk show in East Alabama and West Central Georgia.
Yeah, where else are you going to get your sports fix in the morning, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9? And you can listen to us. You don't even have to be in the Columbus area to listen to us. You can download the Sportsvisions radio app. But I could tell you this because I was driving up to Lynette to call a game last year, and I got Sportsvisions 92.1 on the radio station and clear. So, we aren't just broadcast on terrestrial radio in Columbus. You can listen to us in Phoenix City, Smith Station. You can catch us up in LaGrange, Casita. You can listen to us in Hamilton. I mean, we reach far beyond Columbus.
And if you're all about that action, boss, hey, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you some free game. If you get our Sportsvisions radio app, you don't have to. You can be in Europe and you can get us.
Exactly.
We actually have had some interviews from Africa. We had one of our coaches, one of our trainers that gave a camp in Africa a couple of years ago, and we had him on the show via the app. I mean, it was unbelievable how we were able to. Actually, we did it with the stream, but the app, he said he can get it clear. And then we've had people that go on, vacation in the Caribbeans, and So the bottom line is get the app because again, sometimes the local waves or the local station towers, you have elements based on weather and that kind of thing. But if you get the app, as I like to say, you're cooking with gas.
Yeah, I think the app is the next best thing to have it. Maybe local channels on satellite radio. Right? Just think of it that way. Right. Like you have like a Sirius XM subscription. He's like, oh, by the way, you just happen to have the local channels too. That's what the app is. That's what I think when I think of the app.
But you know what I think is really, really cool when you talk about radio and Sportsvisions radio or Sportsvisions morning show? When you have a smart speaker, now the technology is such, I know I love it. My wife turned me on. She bought me a birthday gift a couple of years ago, but the smart speakers where you can just yell out whatever you want to listen to, whatever genre of music, so if you want to listen to Sportsvisions radio, just say, Alexa, Sportsvisions 92.1 FM. Boom. You know what? It's there. Or you can just, because the app has been out so long, you can also say, Alexa, turn to Sportsvisions radio or tune to Sportsvisions radio. And it'll just boom, pop right up. But the best thing about that is that even if you don't want to listen to the Sportsvisions radio early in the morning, if you don't get up like a lot of our friends and like our front row folks, our front row team, you can come back, Richard. And the great thing about Spotify and all that other fancy stuff that you like to talk about, they can come back and listen to it commercial free if they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, Stanley Crowell, I think that's another guy that we got to add to that front row. Is he's checking in early as well?
We don't have to add him. He's already in. Stanley's been doing this since the beginning. I mean, Bobby Brown, Stanley Crowell,
just and for Rodney Lawrence to check in.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Ricky Rogers. I mean, these guys, they got their special place. Not only are they in the front row, but they got the reserved seat on the in front in the little thing in the chair. So we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Listen, hey man, you know what tonight is, right?
It's game one of the NBA Finals.
You got darn straight.
Let's go.
Yes, go, baby. Hey, the New York Knickerbockers got a lot of fans, man, but I think that Wembanyama, of course, the victor with the San Antonio Spurs, he's a new phenomenon with basketball around the world. And, again, the Knicks fans, I don't know if they're international. I do know that they, as far as the United States and filling up arenas, that's a big deal. But you know what? Victor Wembanyama, he is taking his game to the next stratosphere, and a lot of eyeballs is going to be on these guys tonight.
Yeah, the Spurs are the favorites, but they are a very young team. The Knicks are veterans. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They have a big chip on their shoulder. They feel like if they win, it would be huge for the city of New York. And I honestly think that the Knicks do have a fighting chance in this finals, but I think that they got to take advantage of that rest and steal game one in San Antonio. If they can do that, this is going to be a 7-game series. And I think that if that happens, if the Knicks want to win this series, they got to win every single game in the Garden. Because if they don't, they have to steal 2 from San Antonio. And I think that's really hard to do. And I also got to check and see if the NBA Finals is the 2-3-2 format like it's used to be in the past. I think they went back to the 2-2-1-1 format because I think that's a little bit more easier for these teams.
We'll get that straightened out here in just a little bit. But also as far as championship baseball, women's softball, as far as collegiate league, Texas Tech versus Texas, man. This is number 1 versus number 11. Again, all eyes on the state of Texas, man. They're in Oklahoma City, and we're going to have a champion here. And they got a best of 3 series. They start that series actually today, and it run through actually, if all 3 games are necessary, through the 6th. And they're out in Oklahoma City. And, of course, we talked about the men's baseball super regional rounds. And, again, that'll be the 5th through the 8th.
Oh,
and, again, I know that we got all of these SEC teams. But, my money's on Georgia. And hopefully that they'll win a much-needed natty. But they got a lot of work to do before we get to that point.
Yeah, and if you love the local teams and you actually have never been to a super regional, you've got a chance to go see not only Auburn at Plainsman Park taking on Ole Miss this Friday, but Troy. Troy's only 2 hours away from us.
How about that?
We can end up seeing Little Rock and Troy in the Super Regionals. Of course, Georgia's taking on Mississippi State on Saturday. I mean, we've got Kansas hosting the Super Regional. We've got Texas. We got North Carolina, USC. USC, who's won more College World Series titles than any school in program history. They are back in the Super Regionals. It's a fun time, and I love college baseball. I love the College World Series, but I definitely love the Super Regionals to get to the College World Series. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Now, I know you're a California guy, and I'm more or less, Southern California. But the bottom line is, hey, man, how about UCLA getting trounced and USC in? How do you think that's going on right there in L.A.?
Yeah, UCLA, the number 1 seed, and I'm not going to come out and say, they don't care, because they do, especially if you went to UCLA. But there's so many distractions in Los Angeles. You got the Dodgers doing well. You got the Lakers. The Rams just got Myles Garrett. I think the LA sports fans have been spoiled the last couple of years. The UCLA women's basketball team won the national championship, so they love their college teams. But, yeah, if you're a UCLA fan, it's got to be just a sick-to-your-stomach feeling that USC is in the Super Regionals and UCLA is out.
It's hard for me to fathom that collegiate sports was not a big deal in L.A. Obviously, I think back to the days of USC and UCLA, and, again, all the Heisman Trophy candidates that have come out of USC. And so, you're telling me that things have changed because L.A. is still L.A.
A little bit. It's not as – it will never be the South. It will never be as passionate as the South.
No.
You still have sports fans that like UCLA and USC, but it's just not the passion is there like it is in the South.
Absolutely. Hey, man, let's go ahead and take our first break of the day and let you know that you're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sportsvisions at 921. This is the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me.
If it's local, it's on the Sportsvisions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good morning. I'm Tiffany Maddox with a look at your morning's headlines. The Columbus City Council chambers were packed Tuesday night as the council took up the first reading of a proposed technology overlay district. The reading was not explicitly about a data center in Columbus, rather new rules to set standards if one is ever proposed in the city. Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court is allowing Alabama to use a congressional map favoring Republicans in this year's midterm elections. The High Court's order blocks a lower court ruling that the map intentionally discriminates against Black people. And as summer travel ramps up, blood donations are dropping, and local blood centers say the need is becoming critical. LifeSouth says the shortage is already hitting critical levels, especially for type O blood. Officials say one donation could make a life-saving difference. For WRBL News 3, I'm Tiffany Maddox. Make it a great day.
Good Wednesday morning. Clouds are moving out, leaving behind a clear start by daybreak with temperatures in the 60s. Plenty of sun through the morning. Afternoon high temperatures reach 80 later today, while breezy at times and clear, and a slight chill as we go overnight with those lows falling into the mid-50s. A calm and quiet forecast through the end of the week. We are tracking rain chances arriving back into the forecast by Sunday.
To get the full story, visit sportsvisions921.com and click on the WRBL tab. Sportsvisions 92.1.
This hour brought to you in part by Gill's Auto Sales, now celebrating their 40th anniversary.
Hey everybody, this is Michael Bratton from Bratton Automotive. We are your one-stop shop with all vehicle needs. If you want to trade in your vehicle, I give top dollar. If you're just wanting to sell your vehicle, I give top dollar. You do not have to buy from us for Bratton Automotive to buy your vehicle. We have financing, we have customer service, and we have the inventory you're looking for. At Bratton Automotive, you know it, everybody leaves with a smile.
This is the highlight of my morning. Hey, what's up? It's Island.
And I'm Josh.
And the little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit is that it's our go-to morning comfort.
You've got that nice golden fluffy egg
with a soft flaky biscuit,
crispy bacon,
melty cheese.
You want something quick, you want something convenient, but most of all, you want something good.
There's no better way to start your morning.
There we go.
Start off the morning with a Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit with Simply Orange Juice. Order on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Kohl's lowest prices of the season are here, and suddenly checking the price feels thrilling. Not scary thrilling, the good kind. The, wait, is that right kind? Summer styles, lower. Must-have appliances, lower. Bedding, fluffier and lower. Yep, they're the kind of prices that make you look twice, you know, for the rush. Go ahead and see for yourself at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles, offers end June 7th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
This message is brought to you by the Armed Forces Vacation Club, a free membership travel hub for active duty military and veterans. The club provides a well-deserved escape during challenging times or post-deployments, or for cherished family moments. This exclusive travel club grants access to discounted 7-night resorts and savings on over 600,000 hotels, rental cars, and more. Discover the world for free at afbclub.com.
Every day, 12 children die from sepsis, more than from cancer. Most people don't know the word sepsis or the symptoms. Protect yourself and your loved ones. To learn more about the symptoms, go to sepsis.org.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in Alabama at highschoolofficials.com.
You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Now back to DJ and Thrift on Sports Visions 92.1.
Good Wednesday morning and welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building. That's right. Hey, we're live and in color, broadcasting from the PMB studios in beautiful Midtown Columbus. Hey, Richie, I tell you what, Columbus Clingstones are on the road, and they started their 6-game series with up at Rock City, up in North Alabama, not far from Huntsville. But them bats, they had some bats that came alive, man. 17 hits in a game. Hell, that's more hits than they had all last week, the previous week. But yeah, they were on fire, and they ended up kicking booty. They won 11-3 over the Rock City Trash Pandas. I guess I just have problems even just saying that. The Trash Pandas. That's wow.
Yeah, it's a very unique name. But yeah, 11-3. They came out the gate hot. And I'm telling you what, when they were sitting around waiting, having a couple of days postponed because of those rain delays, I think that they just needed to just let loose. And I think that they're going to have a good series. Hopefully, they can have a series where they can end up winning this series against Rocket City because they're battling for a top spot in the division. And that first half is almost coming to a close. They want to finish strong so they can win the division, which would secure them a postseason berth. Yeah, this early in the season because they have a first half and a second half in the Southern League. And can't wait to see them back out at Synovus Park next Tuesday as well.
24-26 is the current record, just a tad below 500. But let's get to 500. And after that, I tell you, but each and every week, each and every series, man, I tell you what, that can flip the script because they play in 6 consecutive games in most of those cases as they go, whether they're at home or away. And I tell you what, they can make a run and they can win, a home game series, and they can put them right back where they need to be.
Yeah, exactly. And next week, they're taking on the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Got some pretty good promotional deals, including on Thursday, soccer night. So they're giving away a free soccer scarf, and that's the first day of the World Cup. So they're really embracing the soccer, especially with the World Cup approaching.
Speaking of soccer, we have a local soccer team that you have something to do with.
Yes, I do. Oh, it's Columbus United FC in the USL. They actually were on the road last week. They did lose to Dothan United, but Dothan United made the playoffs last year. They're a very good team. Nothing to hang their head on. They currently stand at 1-1-3. So they have 6 points. They are, I believe, in second place in the South Central Division. So this Saturday, 7:30 at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium, they're going to be taking on Montgomery United FC. And that's going to be a busy sports weekend because we also have the Lions military night that's going on at the Civic Center. And so we got a soccer match at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. One game starts at 7, one game starts at 7:30. I think the Lions game is still going to be going on because these soccer matches, they're really quick. So once that soccer match is over, I might swing by the Civic Center just to check out the Lions.
By the way, who is the voice of the soccer team around here? Because I don't think you made mention of that yet.
Oh, yeah, that would be me.
Okay. That's what I thought. It made, like I said, Richard, you never cease to amaze me. You're such, you know what? You're full of humble pie. That's what it is. Because you don't basically let folks know. And again, that's part of the game, man. You got to promote yourself, promote what you're doing. And that's how you create these followings, man. That's the bottom line.
And I do want to give a shout out. The public address announcer is Philip Bush, which is the uncle of our own Thrift Barringer. So he does a phenomenal job with the PA announcing.
But you didn't want, you kind of stingy with not letting us know. You weren't going to let us know that you were the voice, huh?
No, only on the Sports Engine.
Why yada?
I know Sports Engine play, but if you go to a soccer match at AJ McClung to watch Columbus United, that voice you hear on the intercom, that is Philip Bush, who does a great job. He is the father of Paxton Bush, which is the director of operations, and Thrift Barringer's cousin.
You said that already.
I know. Yeah. Well, yeah, but Thrift Barringer's uncle, Philip Bush, and then his cousin is Paxton.
So what do you do with them?
Well, I do the broadcast on the stream service that they have.
Thank you,
Sports
Richard.
Engine Play.
Yeah. I can't figure this out.
Trying to get it out of me, DJ.
I mean, if you don't like hockey, it's one thing, but I know you care about hockey, but to let these folks know that they can find hockey streaming on whatever it is with you. And I had to pull that out like pulling teeth. I don't know.
Speaking of hockey, we did have Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
We did. And I tell you, man, I become a Tampa Bay Rays fan. Not Rays. I don't even know what the name of the doggone team is. Lightning.
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
But just by the fact of that's my second home now, and we go down quite often. And everything that you hear, you don't hear about the Bucks. You don't hear about the Rays. You hear about the Lightning. Everybody, for the most part, if you hear about them all, but in that order, the hockey team is the hottest thing, since sliced bread in Tampa.
Yeah, they've won 3 Stanley Cups. They actually almost went for a three-peat. There was a stretch where the state of Florida won 4 Stanley Cups in like a 5-year span. The Florida Panthers winning 2, the Lightning won 2. Hockey is great down in Florida, and I know that's unheard of, especially people from the north. But it's warm weather, and you can have an ice rink anywhere. And I figured this out really quickly when I was a kid. I mean, it didn't snow where I was at, but we ended up having the Sharks, and people got on the bandwagon because they love hockey now, and it's not just a northern sport anymore. We're embracing it in the South. I mean, look at the Carolina Hurricanes; they are in the Stanley Cup final.
Absolutely. Now, some of the folks that are listening this morning want to know, hey, what can we do? What we got some kids that need camp, need to go to camp. Mikael Williams is having his annual camp, and it's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, Otis Spencer Stadium, June the 13th. I got to definitely check that out. If anything, just so I can get a picture with Mikael Williams, because I'm a big 49ers fan. But I've met him before. Remember, he came to the Muskogee County Christmas tournament. He was watching his sister play basketball when she was at Hardaway, and that was a pretty cool moment. But yeah, he's giving back to the community. From what I've heard, his workouts, like he's recovering from that ACL injury last year. He looks fantastic. I've heard that like he is ready to go for the opener for the 49ers, and can't wait to see him back out on the field year 2 in his NFL career.
Tell you what, a young, talented guy that loves the game, that does everything the right way, and looking forward to him having a great season as well. Also, a big camp that'll be, of course, the week after the Father's Day weekend. Of course, let me just go in order. Why don't we say this? Because we had Wayne Johnson Sr., Wayne Johnson Jr., and their grandson and son, Skylar, in the studio last week talking about fathers and sons under the sun. That's an event that Wayne Johnson, of course, has created, and we had those guys on, but that'll be the day before Father's Day, and that'll be on the 20th at Hardaway High School. And again, it's a day that you don't have to have biological children, but if you're a leader, if you work with kids, if you have been a mentor, they're inviting everybody out for a day of celebration, competition. They got all kind of games, wonderful games that you can play with the kids, and the dads and the fathers and the mentors, the leaders, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It's a great day for you to go out and to be recognized and to have fun and to contribute. They'll have that going on, of course, the 20th of June, and that's just in a couple of weeks over at Hardaway High School. Also, the Isaiah Crowell. I think it's the 10th annual, because again, I've been doing this camp for Isaiah since he, came into the league and back early, and I believe it's 2015. But the 10th annual, I know last year we canceled because of the heat. Mm-hmm. However, been doing this and he's been putting in work. I mean, you talk about having a camp where you get a T-shirt, you get lunch. Obviously, our good friends at Chick-fil-A come out and spoil the kids, as well as Chester's Barbecue. They're part of. I mean, you talk about if you don't do anything, you're going to eat good. And of course, the tremendous teachings, of course, with the staff offensive coordinator, when we talk about Pierre Coffey, he has been the lead coach, from several years back when he was with the Carver Tigers and, of course, their state championship run as well. But his staff, as well as the players from the Columbus Lions. And I tell you, we're still working out the details because, again, we've had some things that have come up that might be pretty intriguing for the kids as far as where we're going to do the camp and how we're going to do the camp. So I'm going to hold off a couple of more days until I get the details on exactly. But the camp date will be on Saturday, June the 27th.
Yeah, can't wait to be a part of it, DJs. We were there 2 years ago, live streaming it for Sportsvisions.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, our first guest, Rennie Curran. I tell you, man, I'm excited about this next conversation because this young man not only has transitioned out of sports, but he's in the corporate sector. He's getting the corporate experience. He's giving them a part of his experiences. And I tell you what, you'll hear all about it in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you are listening to WLTC HD2 Sportsvisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Sportsvisions 92.1.
Attorney Advertising, Blake Swan, 4751 Best Road, College Park, Atlanta, Georgia. 921-200-7066. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
What I tell you about that dog? What I tell you about that dog? I told you the dog was hungry. I told you the dog was hungry. Told you the dog would bite. What I tell you, the dog would bite. I told you the dog would chase you. I told you the dog would chase you. Top Dog Law. You see what the dog doing? Do you understand how he moving? Do you see the marketing that the dog is doing? Do you see him on TV? Did you hear him on the radio? Did you see the challenge? That dog is hungry. Do you know the extent that he's willing to go to let y'all know? If you get into an accident, that you know exactly who to call. If you ever get hurt and it wasn't your fault, you know what to do. Make the call. Call the dog. Top Dog Law.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
It's that time of year again for cookouts and company and relaxing outside. So that means it's time for you to pay a visit to Corey's luxurious outdoor patio. Shop their beautiful outdoor furniture that's made to last season after season. And right now, it's all 25% off. And that's only at Corey's Furniture. You're going to love this place. Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
It's Military Appreciation Night, Saturday, June 6th, as the Columbus Lions take on the Carolina Predators at 7. Come enjoy this action-packed night of football, an incredible halftime show featuring Christian and Scooby, the gravity-defying duo bringing their acrobatic and hand-balancing act to the Columbus Civic Center. And be sure to sign up for the Kick It to Win It Challenge at the merchandise table for a chance to kick a field goal for $5,000. It's all going down Saturday, June 6th, so come out and support your undefeated Columbus Lions. Get tickets at the Columbus Civic Center.
In Iraq, our truck hit a roadside bomb. I had about 16 surgeries on my hand so that I could regain function. And when I came home, I needed a new roof due to a storm. And my electrical was deemed unsafe. And I was about to lose homeowners insurance as well. I didn't really know where to go in order to get help. And so I applied for Operation Homefront Critical Financial Assistance Program. They've really been a blessing. Operation Homefront is the safety net. A lot of veterans, they fall through the cracks sometimes. And Operation Homefront, they catch us. It's been a blessing to us. It's a blessing to other veteran families. And it's good to know that when we come home, there are people who are there that care about us and want to see us do well and want to see us succeed. And we feel it and we appreciate that. I would say you guys are angels behind closed doors.
Visit OperationHomefront.org to learn more.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the AHSAA, are the 138,000 high school sports students in Alabama. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Catch the Paul Feinbaum Show, 3 to 7 on Sportsvisions 92.1. Now back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Here's three-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion, DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Really career, and I made mention to him being probably one of the most devastating defensive players in the history. You heard a lot of different things. He played for the Georgia Bulldogs. He played in the NFL. He played in the Canadian Football League. A tremendous young man, but I'm so impressed with how he's been able to transition and to become the entrepreneur he has become. A tremendous motivational speaker. It's unbelievable. I just want to welcome Rennie Curry to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Good morning. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, DJ. How are you?
Really, really good, man. I'm really super excited about what you've been doing and how you have made a transition from ball to now talking to some of the top companies and corporations around the country, man. It's congratulations to you.
Thank you, man. As you know, it's never easy, man. And same to you. Congrats on everything that you're doing and the platform that you give people to share, their stories and make an impact as well. So it's because of people like you that I'm able to do what I do. And I don't take it for granted at all. I'm a man of faith, man. And I'm just honored, that God has given me the ability to do what I do, speak life into people, go into places and help move the needle for companies and organizations, nonprofits or schools. And I started very humbly, man, by going to small towns. I didn't start in those companies you mentioned. It was very, very small. I would go to places for, gas money at times. And that's how I started, man. And, even though I played in the league and all those things, I had to humble myself and start all over. But I'm glad to say, man, that now it's put me in some of the rooms that I can't even imagine. So I'm just thankful.
Let's do this for the benefit of those who don't know. Obviously, how did it start? Where, your beginnings? I mean, where'd you go to school? Where'd you grow up? We know about the tremendous football player that you were, but obviously you had to have gotten a foundation at some point in some time by your family.
Oh, yeah, man. I always talk about my family whenever I speak. Both of them are immigrants from West Africa, from Liberia. And, they came here in the early 80s. My mom came here to Emory in Atlanta, and that's how we ended up here. So I was born in Atlanta, moved to Gwinnett County when I was 10 years old, went to Brookwood High School. They knew absolutely nothing about football whatsoever, but they just so happened to let me play. Music was actually my first thing. So I started playing the piano at 8, drums at 10, played in the orchestra, and joined my first football team. And my Little League coach was from Wheeler County, Alamo, Georgia. And he was the biggest Georgia fan. So him and his son were the ones who actually taught me everything about Georgia football. And I became addicted. That's when David Green and Musa Smith and all those Thomas Davis were playing. So, that became my dream, man. And because of the community that I was in, man, coaches, teachers, janitors, who would open up the door for me first thing in the morning, like this time, around this time, that's how I was able to not just, have that dream, but to bring it to fruition and make it a reality. I was considered undersized my whole career. And, it was because of folks like that, man. I had a trainer by the name of Chip Smith who trained tons of Georgia guys. Even he trained Kirby Smart, Brian Urlacher, Jesse Tuggle. And he allowed me to actually train for free my whole entire high school days, man. It just poured into me, which is one of the reasons why I do what I do. Because of guys like him. He didn't have to do it. My parents didn't have money. We fell on some really hard times. My dad lost his business. My mom almost died at one point when I was in like the 7th, 8th grade. So we were paycheck to paycheck. I was the kid on free reduced lunch meals. I was the kid who always needed a ride, who needed the scholarship. But like I said, man, I was just so blessed with people around me who really cared, who showed up when they didn't have to, who spoke life into me when they didn't have to. So a lot of what I do, man, is just giving back, paying it forward for all those people that really loved me and cared about me and just advocated for me when I couldn't advocate for myself.
Yeah, Rennie, I followed your Georgia career, and one thing I noticed is your leadership on the field playing middle linebacker. How has that translated from being that leader on the field to now being a leadership coach and going out into that corporate world and being a motivational speaker, talking to these CEOs? Just elaborate on just that transition.
Yeah, I mean, it really has given me all the tools, all the principles, the foundational principles of what it takes to be a leader in everyday life. The first thing I learned being a linebacker and trying to lead my team was that I had to lead myself. I couldn't go out there and say one thing, but then I'm living a whole nother thing. So I had to really build trust within my teammates before I could step in front of them and speak. And so that required consistency in who I was, in my performance, and then making sure that there was alignment in terms of what I said and what I did on a daily basis. And, when it came to just even not just my performance, but raising the ability of everybody around me. Mm-hmm. That's something I talk about a lot. There's a difference between a high performer and a high performing leader. One is all about production, but once that production goes, everything, they're really of no value. But the other person, when you think about the greatest leaders, they're not only performing for themselves, but they raise the standard of everybody. And so everybody's affected. When they leave, you can tell there's a difference. And so those are some of the things, man, the preparation, right? That the strategy involved with being a linebacker. It didn't just come when I, got on the field and got under the lights. This was weeks and weeks and weeks of preparation that nobody saw. And so a lot of these things translate to those CEOs, when I'm talking to them about how they show up as leaders, when I'm talking about them about, winning the game before the game. That's one of the principles I share. What are you doing before those big moments? What are you doing before the challenges happen? Are you preparing yourself mentally, spiritually, physically before these things happen? And so, it gave me such a great foundation, man, just thinking about my days as a linebacker and all the things that it took to sustain. And then when I go to these organizations, it's really the same dynamics. Like when you're dealing with people, you're going to have people problems. So it's going to be the same type of issues, the same things that make a team great or bad. It all affects whether you're a sports team or a corporation.
Rennie, there's community leaders that are listening. There's administrators, there's coaches, there's a lot of different people. There's kids listening right now, student athletes that are listening. I want you to talk about, obviously, the transition from, of course, you got comfortable and you learn your craft as a football player. You knew your assignments. So when you put that helmet on and you strapped up your cleats and you put those and buckle up those shoulder pads, hey, look, nothing could stop you. What are the things that motivate you now? Okay, I know you say you started small in this arena, this new arena, but what were some of the things that really gave you the opportunity to walk in and walk across the stage? I've seen the videos, I followed you on social media, and I've seen how you, and I love it, how you go in and you'll go in and ahead of time, just like when you used to go to the football field and walk the glass before the game. But you will get to your site or your company that's going to be making you've been making a presentation. You'll walk the room and do all of those types similar things. Explain that process and how that helped you.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. Honestly, I tell everybody that the transition never stops. One, you're always transitioning in life. And the transition I've removed that word from my vocabulary, really. I call it integration. And when you think about integration, it's about how can you take what you're building right now and apply that to your future. And so in my mind, I'm still playing linebacker. I'm just wearing a different jersey. Yeah. Right? So the same principles, the same things, the same preparation, like I just mentioned before, the mentality, the team aspect, all those things apply to exactly to what I'm doing now. And if I hadn't approached playing linebacker, not with from the standpoint of a position, but a lifestyle, a mindset, there's no way I'll be able to do what I'm doing now. And so I literally had to ask myself, who was Rennie Curran as a linebacker? And this is what I tell a lot of athletes when they're transitioning. I'm like, hey, you got to ask yourself, who were you as that athlete? You were confident, you were resilient. When you got knocked down, you got your ass back up.
Yeah.
You prepared. You had a mentality that you're going to win no matter what. So now I need you to bring that over into who you are as a person, because you can't do something for all those years and then all of a sudden you take a jersey off and you forget those things. And that's what you see with a lot of guys. Their confidence leaves, their faith leaves, their competitive edge leaves the minute they take that jersey off and they transition. I'm like, no, that's become through conditioning. That's part of who you are. And you got to remember that. You got to take that into every room, into every situation, and remember the training, remember the mindset, remember what got you to this point, because it's going to sustain you. Now, you can't take everything. That holds some people back as well, too. You gotta be aware of the fact that some of those things that made you great in this area of life will also hold you back in this area of life, like being a perfectionist. You can't, you got to be willing to humble yourself. You got to remember when you were in Little League and you didn't know the positions and you were just coachable and you were just trying to figure out the fundamentals. That humility is also a part of it as well. So, when it comes to what I do now, man, definitely walking the stage, the preparation, man, I'm relentless when it comes to preparing. I make sure I don't just go and give a canned speech. I get to know that organization. I get to know the people who are going to be in the audience, and I go over and above because I know that's what they deserve. People are going through some real challenges, like in life, real teamwork challenges, culture challenges, leadership challenges. And so, it's up to me to make sure that I deliver, just like I delivered on the field. I didn't just want to show up and just go through the motions. I want to make a difference. And so that's the kind of mentality and the energy that I try to bring in every room I step into.
Rennie, with the landscape of college football changing, where the focus is on NIL and that kind of, I'm not necessarily saying they're shied away from the education portion, but I think that gets lost in the shuffle of going to a major university and getting an education. Talk about how important that still is, because a lot of these players that think they're going to have a 10-year career in the NFL, that's just not the reality for the majority of these players, that they need to have something to fall back on. So just elaborate on how important it is to get that education, to find something other than football that you can, have a plan B just in case it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and I tell every guy this, Gary, because nobody wants to hear that, what if it doesn't work out? That's like telling somebody about a funeral that's going to happen, right? They immediately shut off, like, especially if you're a high performer, you're talented. The biggest thing that I tell them is, what if it does work out? What if you do play 10 years? Then what? Then what are you going to do? Right? So everything goes well. You still got to have a life. You're only going to be 30 to 35 years old. So now you got to think about, okay, how am I going to leverage all this that I built? And so for me, it doesn't matter if you played 2 years in college and you got hurt, or you played 10 years in the league. How do you leverage those years? How do you integrate that? And you got to start, in my mind, I'm like, hey, you got to start right now. You got to start thinking like that 10-year, 20-year out version of yourself. And the saying that I have is, you got to operate at the level of your vision. You got to operate at the level of your vision. And a lot of these guys, man, unfortunately, they get blinded by success because they're getting this NIL money, because they got these scholarship offers. They don't realize, man, that this is a temporary window. Like, this isn't finite. One day you wearing that jersey, everything is great. Next thing, it is gone. So right now, while this window is open, you better get every single thing you can out of this opportunity. And that's really what I try to preach to them. But more importantly, I try to live that. I went back, even though I left early, I went back, I got my business degree. I didn't just get any kind of degree. I got a degree in business administration. Mm-hmm. I also have a certification in organizational leadership from Harvard Business School. So I didn't just stop there. And so we as athletes have to understand that we have a temporary platform, and our bodies are only going to go so far. It's like a car, right? We only got a certain amount of mileage that we can go. And so therefore we have to maximize it, and we have to see ourselves as not just athletes, but as corporations, and how do you sustain that corporation? There's things that you do. So I can go on and on about that, but I think it doesn't just start with the athlete. It starts with the parents, right? The parents have to also be proponents of making sure that their kid doesn't just see themselves as an athlete. The coaches have to make sure that they are talking to these kids about leadership, and not just saying be a leader, but no, what does that really look like? How do you really build yourself into a leader? Everybody has a part to play in making sure that these guys fully develop into who they are as a whole human being, not just checking a box, and that's one of the tough things, because you only have so much time. And so, yeah, that's some of my thoughts on that.
Rennie Curry is our guest this morning on the Sportsvisions morning show. And Rennie is a dynamic former football player. He's a dynamic speaker. He is a dynamic individual. Rennie, I know that we were up against the clock, and I could talk to you all day, because you just intrigue me and then motivate me and inspire me to want to dig deep down, to share all of this wonderful knowledge that you have with everybody out here. But I know the reality of it is that we got to keep this thing moving. I know that you continue to evolve, as you've gotten, you've gone from this small, I guess I say small, but small business to a larger platform with regards to getting your message out there to the corporations and the companies and the organizations. Now, as you continue to evolve, I know you got something, you're working on something, and whether it's some new, or whatever it is that you have on your mind to continue to evolve. You want to share that with us?
Yeah, man. So just give you a background on how I came up with this vision and this idea. I kept coming into situations where I would meet somebody like yourself, DJ. You played in the 80s, correct?
Yeah, right.
Right. So I would be in an event and somebody would say, hey, you need to go and talk to that guy over there. He played at Georgia back in the 80s or back in the 70s. Like I met Fran Tarkenton that way. Burt Jones, I met him that way. And that kept happening where I was like, man, the only way I would meet somebody like yourself is if it was word of mouth. And then the second thing that kept happening is every time I would go to a business and they would book me for a speech, it would usually be a Georgia fan, somebody who watched me play, somebody who's familiar with me. And then the third thing that they would say, these same companies, is, hey, we love to hire athletes. So that inspired me to create the platform that I'm going to be releasing next month. The platform is called Former. And basically, Former is going to be the LinkedIn for former collegiate athletes. It's going to connect athletes, current and former, fans, and businesses all on one platform. It's going to allow you to basically, I don't know, for those of you all who have used Cameo, it's going to allow for fans to be able to book athletes for different services, whether it's keynote presentations, whether it's coaching and mentoring their kids, whether it's coming out and hanging out at a tailgate. They'll be able to get access to those athletes, but also connect with them in community, because it's not just going to be a transactional platform. You're also going to be able to join in groups, talk to your favorite former athletes, hire them if you're a company owner. So it's going to be very, very dynamic, a community and a marketplace as well. And I'm so excited to get it out to the public, man. We already got about 200 people signed up who are former athletes and fans and everything. So it's going to be a dynamic platform that's going to create tons of opportunities, but most of all, it's going to keep us all connected.
Liddy, as you talking to us this morning, can you give us an idea of the typical, assignment, meaning that from the time you get the word that a company wants to bring you in to how that process flows, so that, the folks, it might be somebody listening out there now that wants to book you. How could they do that? How should they do that?
Yeah. So the first thing you can do is go to my website, renniecurran.com. That's RENNIECURRAN, or you can go through my Instagram, my LinkedIn, whatever it is. That's the first step, is to get to my website. There is an inquiry form that you fill out just to give me information about the event. Tell me about the theme, how many people are going to be there, your budget, all that jazz. So once I receive that, it goes directly to my team. They follow up with an email to set up a time for us to talk. So I always believe in that personal touch. So we talk about the event, your vision for it, how you want me to deliver value to your folks. I get to know their goals, your challenges, your objectives. And then we set that date, and I show up ready to roll and make it happen. I always try to hit that home run every single opportunity I get. So, yeah, thank you.
Speaking of home runs, and I know you've played in some big football games, but the level that you or the arena that you're in now, and talking to these organizations and corporations, what have been the home runs for you up to this point? I know there are going to be many more, but up to this point, and I don't know if you want to mention the names, but hey, you know what? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, golly, there's been so many companies, from Fidelity to Chick-fil-A to Equitable. I remember I did my first really, really big one. It was with Fidelity, their national sales conference. And they flew me out to San Diego, man. And that was a moment where I was like, man, wow, I'm really here. Tons of associations. But I'll tell you, man, still one of my favorite organizations and opportunities when I go and speak to schools. Honestly, that's still where my heart is when I go to, a group of high school kids or middle school kids, and I can tell, they just need to hear a message of hope. They need to be spoken into. They need to, that they're on this trajectory. And it's like, if I realize if I can just say something, man, that just lights that fire in them, it may change their life, and they're in that point of being in a crossroads in life. Like, that's what really, really gets me going. That taps into my heart, just because I see myself when I see them. I know where I once was. I know when I needed that teacher to say, man, Rennie, you're a leader. You don't have to be like everybody else. You can be different. When I had that coach that made me run the extra laps, and I didn't like it at the time, but it changed my mentality. All those moments, man. So it really gets me going. And so those are my home runs, honestly. And then when I see that kid 5 years, 10 years later, and they're like, man, Rennie, I remember what you said. Like, that is priceless. That's priceless.
Couple of more minutes left here, Rennie, and I can't let you leave without speaking to my football coaches, my sports coaches, my athletic coaches here in East Alabama, West Central Georgia, as it pertains to, and I know they know this, is how impressionable these young student athletes are. But coming from a young man that has been so accomplished at every level, can you speak to the hearts of these leaders, of men and women, boys and girls, if you would, in your parting shots?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I'll tell any coach is, man, do not lose sight of how much your presence matters, how much your words matter. Your words, man, they become that kid that you're coaching, they become his inner voice. And so be mindful, man. Don't get caught up in the wins, the losses. I know that's why you're there. What you're there to do, of course, is get the wins. But honestly, who remembers who won the state championship in whatever classification 5 years ago? Most of us can't remember unless you're an expert in that space. So it's about that impact. It's about the impression that you leave on these young men and young women. That's what they're gonna remember. And ultimately, man, they're gonna remember if you truly care. They're going to remember two things. If you truly care, or if you were just going through the motions. And then the second thing I'll say they're going to remember is that your leadership, your impact is going to go far beyond anything that has anything to do with X's and O's and anything that you can teach. It's how you live your life, how you treat your wife, how you treat your kids. That's going to send echoes, right, years from now in terms of how they approach their life. There's so many men that I saw were impacted by the way Coach Rick conducted himself that had nothing to do with football, had nothing to do with coaching. It was how he treated people that could do absolutely nothing for him. So I say those things, man. Just remember that. Remember to show that you care. Remember, man, that your voice will become somebody's inner voice. And remember that the things that you do that will have the biggest impact will have nothing to do with your coaching or the X's and O's and the strategy.
I tell you, man, it's you've been so inspirational, so informative this morning. I tell you, I wish I could talk to you, every other month or so, just to check in and just to kind of keep everybody, balanced. Because again, you're so positive and you have so much good information. I hope that you will come back.
Oh man, I would love to. I already told you. As soon as this app launches.
Oh, I think he froze.
All right, we lost him. But hey, look, the bottom line is that thank you. You're back. You're back.
There he is.
Yeah, I was saying, you already know. I already told you. I'm definitely open to coming back anytime, man. Whenever the app launches, or just in general. I love being able to do this and speak life into folks, man. So thank you always for having me, man, and congrats, and wish you continued success as well.
Randy, before you go, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. Give them your social media for following, anything that you got that you think is pertinent for them to find out where you are.
For sure. So it's at Rennie Curran on all my social media. Instagram, Facebook is at Rennie Curran, and then RennieCurran.com if you're trying to book me as a speaker or as a leadership coach. And then for the app, it's called Former, FORMR. And the website for that, if you want to do an early sign up, is FORMR-app.com, FormerApp.com.
Randy, thank you so much, man, and have a great rest of your day.
Yes, sir. Y'all as well. God bless, and go Dogs.
I'll go Dogs.
Thank you, Randy.
Take care, my friend.
I just can't love the way that I feel. Your love has a force, got me under your spell.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sportsvisions 92.1.
Ashley Marine is proud to offer the Mercury outboard engines for work, play, sport, or adventure. Mercury outboards are engineered to ensure there's nothing holding you back. Mercury's unmatched reliability, refined performance, and innovative features deliver the confidence to pursue your calling for the water. Stop by Ashley Marine today. 2 locations, Box Road in Columbus or Lee Road 379 in Salem, Alabama. Only 1 mile from the Long Bridge. More boats, lower prices, AshleyMarine.com.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings Wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the GHSA, are the 195,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Georgia. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
While serving in Afghanistan, I was shot in the head by sniper fire. The fighting was so intense, the medevac chopper was barely able to land. I was given a 5% chance to live. I'm Adam Alexander, and I'm a veteran. Today, I visit classrooms and talk with kids about dealing with life's struggles. I tell them, with a little help and a lot of work, that you can overcome any challenge.
DAV helps veterans like Adam get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
I know that some struggles are big and some are small, but they're all struggles, and you have to learn to get through them. With support from DAV, more veterans like me can live their best life. And as a new father, I have one more reason to keep on keeping on. My victory is being there for the next generation.
Adam Alexander, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. The only live and local sports morning show. It's the Sports Visions Morning Show with Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer on Sports Visions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge broadcasting from the PNB studios in beautiful Midtown Columbus. Big shout out to Rennie Curry. I tell you, man, such an inspirational young man. And I tell you, I'm really proud of Rennie and just some positive words. And you know what? He's really come on. He's really, caught on to something special. When corporations bring you in, fly you in, and pay you, a handsome fee to not only speak to, their management teams or their employees, but, this is special because, again, that lets you know that, if these corporate executives see this rare talent that you have to motivate, because they know everybody, even coaches need coaching, and I really have become an advocate of having other people and listening to folks' story and hearing how people decipher and do different things, and it matters across the board, not just in sports. It's in corporate. It's entrepreneurs now, as we are. I like to listen to other successful entrepreneurs because everybody doesn't do everything the same way. But I do know one thing that has, a common ground with regards to successful people. They work hard. They get up early. They like this. They say they get up, before the crows, whatever that saying is. But you have a passion. You love what you do. You're not going to have fun doing something that you don't like to do, Rich.
No, that's why we do what we do, because we're having fun here. And if you are going into work every day and you're feeling miserable, then you need to kind of have a heart. Come to heart meeting to think maybe this is not what I want to do. And but I think there's a lot of people out there that just chasing the paycheck. And so they want to work at a place where they feel miserable all the time and they get yelled and screamed at by their boss and they're walking on eggshells. But hey, as long as I'm kind of speaking for myself because I was in the military.
I knew you were coming from somewhere.
It wasn't all bad. It was not all bad experiences. I had good leadership, and I also had leadership that was micromanaging me like you would believe. But that's just when you're in the military, you're with leaders from all walks of life, and 23 years, I had my share of different types of leaders.
All right. Good morning to Rodney Lawrence. I appreciate you checking in. He says he really enjoyed that interview. Sandra Vet Shelton checking in. Thank you for joining the front row of the Sports Visions Morning Show. Stanley Crowell, we hear you, we see you. Candy Lowe, she's out there. Bobby Brown as well. And, hey, Ricky Rogers is just right around the corner. Without further ado, hey, you're talking about somebody who loves what they're doing and living out their dream, working with young people, and obviously pouring into them. And this young man has been doing it for quite some time. You've heard from him before. Has a huge event coming up tomorrow, and his name is Mike Woods. Mike, good morning. How you doing, bud?
Good morning, brothers. How y'all doing?
Really, really well, man. Really, really well. I don't know how much of that you got to hear, Rennie, but obviously, you have it's a kind of deja vu for you because, you've been an entrepreneur. You have been pouring into young people. You've been a motivator. You've been an inspiration. And, even with all that you have done, sometimes you need motivating. You need inspiring. And you need somebody to say, hey, man, you've done a great job. Keep it going. And there's nothing wrong with a good word of encouragement. There's nothing wrong with inspiration.
DJ, that's where guys like you come in. That's where the respect that I would never forget from the first day I met you. You know what I'm saying? You've always poured in and gave encouraging words. So people like you are very much needed in this community for guys like me who they consider old. I know they got to consider you old, but they consider me old. So, I appreciate everything you do and what you do for me. And continue to motivate me to keep going and doing the things that I'm doing. Because sometimes, man, it gets to a point where you feel like, hey, that's enough of this. I done enough, But, again, I always say to some of my parents now that, I've tried to walk away from this thing on several times, but God keeps me in this place and he wants me here because he still has some more work for me to do.
Absolutely. And the work that's going to be happening tomorrow is coming to you via No Approval. Pressure Makes Diamonds, a championship mindset with Bridget Gordon. Tell us all about it, man.
Hey, man, real quick. Bridget is a remarkable friend of mine over almost 30 years. She's coming here. She's going to have a remarkable story for the kids, the young kids. Coming in here, played at the University of Tennessee for Pat Summit. Just a remarkable person. And this is something, DJ, that when I called her to ask her about it, she's like, man, it's amazing. I've been wanting to do something like this for the longest. And it's just about pouring into these young people, these coaches, trying to get them to understand what the college coaches want or what the college coaches are looking for. What's the best opportunity for these kids. And so we started off going to charge for it. And then we decided, wait a minute, you and I talk all the time. People, people don't want to come. You give them the tools that they need, and they still don't take advantage of it. So we are hoping. I spoke with Coach Mills yesterday. We're hoping that the coaches. We've had a lot of people, random parents, is looking at shows like your show or listen to the radio and seeing things on social media. They've been reserving their spot. So we're hoping that the coaches will take advantage of it and come in and see and hear the message from these people, because the most important thing about this is education, being educated and understanding the new nuance of college sports. It's no longer amateur sports anymore. And you got people around here that are leading people and ain't giving them the right information. Some because they don't know, some because they choose to not get the information they need. So Bridget's is gonna come in and deliver. We also have Chester Nichols. He's a new head coach, been around the game for a long time. He's coming in from the University of Alabama. And then Michael T. White, he's actually coming in today. We're going to do a camp for the kids, 6th through 8th graders. He's going to come in, evaluate the kids. It's only $20 for that camp. All those proceeds will go to Girls Inc. DJ, here's the sad thing about it. And for me, but the good thing about it for other people, I ain't making a penny off of it. Okay. All this money is going to Girls Inc. is going to a good cause. We have so many kids in low income that are struggling. Times are hard. Yeah. And we are having to increase the amount of the money, how much we charge for a summer program, and some people still can't afford it. So everything that we're doing is going back into Girls Inc. so that we have so many kids and low income parents that are trying to still get their kids into summer programs, and we just gonna give the money back to them and make sure that we can kind of scholarships from kids and help some kids from parents get kids inside the program.
Well, Mike, as I've gotten to know you over the past couple of years, I realized that you have done a tremendous job making an impact with Girls Inc. in this community, and it is a team effort. I mean, you've got a great team over there at Girls Inc., but talking about how important it is to have these camps, to have these speakers come in to get this message out, to continue to make an impact on these girls as they're coming up through these camps, and then they're going off to play in middle school and in high school. And then we've seen the results over really the last couple of decades. Really, it started way back before you even started this thing. Just talk about that impact in the community.
Well, I'll tell you what, Richard, DJ always tell me to be honest and be straightforward. And I think that's one of the things I've gotten better at, because so many people want to hold grudges and hate because you're trying to be honest about it. I'm just going to be straight up with you. It still hasn't taken it. They haven't taken advantage of the opportunities that they need to take. We talked about this yesterday, and I spoke with Kendall Mills. It's sad that you have to try to brainwash and blackmail and get your coaches to come to events that can help them in the long run.
True.
We're nowhere near where we should be, as large as our city is. We're too divided, and when people bring on stuff like that, take out the Mike Woods. It ain't for me. I'm feeding you for free. I'm bringing all this information into you. Ain't nothing going to me. All you can do is come there and gain some knowledge. For the parents that are out there, if you got kids that are playing sports and you got a coach that's out there that don't have a clue about what's going on, then you don't have nobody to blame but yourself, because you had an opportunity to come to an event like this to learn for yourself. The food is for free. The event is for free. You can come get autographs and take pictures with the people for free. I've been doing this for a long time, Richard. I spoke about this last time. I had Cynthia Cooper to come here. She's a Hall of Famer. And we had 7 coaches in the building. 7.
Wow.
And so Kendall is having a hard time with even getting coaches to commit to this event. But again, I believe in my heart that it's going to be successful. I just say to you again, I guess I answer by saying this. Parents, if you have a coach out there and they can't answer the questions that you need to be answered for your kid, they can't help you in the recruit war, you ain't gonna have nobody to blame but yourself, because you have an opportunity to come and learn for yourself, because that's what it's all about. DJ, you know as well as I know, there's no such thing as amateur sports anymore. They get paid. They getting paid. So you better get on it and know what's going on, because there's a lot of folks know exactly what's going on, and when you don't, then your child and you get the short end of the stick. So, I just hope that people will understand that, Richard, like I said, this is not the first time I've done stuff like this. I've been doing this for a long time. And it's just people like DJs tell me I need to start speaking up a little bit more and being honest. And that's what I'm doing now.
Absolutely, Mike. And it's one thing to do something, but it's another thing to do something from your heart and your calling. You've been blessed in more ways than just money, man. I talk about it. We talk about it all the time. The kids that you have, your own kids, and the success that they've had. Not having any problems with the law. Going and getting education and degrees. I mean, those things are, that's a blessing. And again, $20 or $100 or $1,000, whatever it is, you're doing this because you love it, and you're getting blessed for it. And and you're getting blessed in that way. I know you know that. I know you know that. But what we are trying to accomplish, and I know with you and a lot of what we do are the same in trying to get, not only great information and exposure for our young people, but we're trying to get it for our coaches as well. You got, legitimate. And again, we bringing in, the top coaches are from around America to the luncheon, the Sportsvisions Awards luncheons, and what you're doing here, with Bridget and bringing in her and coaches. You know what? Somewhere deep down inside it, and I don't want you to beat yourself up. And I talk about this to you as well, man. You know what? When God gives you these gifts and these talents, and you are, sharing them with the folks out there, if they don't take up on it, Mike, don't feel bad about it. I mean, this is something that was going to make them better. And you know what? Those that take it and those that show up are the ones that are supposed to be there.
Exactly. And that's what I've learned, DJ. No matter if we have 150 or 75 in the building, hopefully, my grandmama always told me, if you got one person can gain something out of it, then you did your job. So that's what I'm hoping, that some of these parents will take advantage of it, because DJ, I'm telling you, man, this world in sports, youth sports, is something else to deal with, and you don't know if you don't know as a parent what's going on. Like you got parents that are chasing EYBL and Nike sponsorship, and they're not. Nike has come up with a thing called EYCL, where the kids are not even playing on the major circuit. Their money is taking care of the EYBL team, and the parents don't even understand, because these These guys who are running these programs are telling them we EYBL, we're Nike. No, you're not. You're affiliated with Nike, and Nike is getting Nike. What Nike did because corporate America came in and has bought all the youth sports. Nike has come in and said we cannot afford to lose all these programs, so we got to come in with a second league, and they came in with EYCL. So these kids pay for a $1,500, and then not only they pay $1,500, DJ. They turn around, they have to provide. Nike does not, these organization does not provide them with transportation, hotel, none of those accommodations. These kids and their parents have to provide their own transportation, their own hotel fare. So a parent that plays for an EYCL team probably end up spending anywhere between $7,000 and $10,000 a summer. And their kid, I know of EYCL programs right now that they play on this circuit, and they probably have one or two coaches coming to watch them play. And if you don't understand that, and people are you allowing people to continue to fool you with those type of things, then these people. I'm telling you, if anybody is listening, DJ, Bridget Gordon, Chester Nichols, Michael T. White is gonna come deliver a story to them tomorrow night. And if they come and they're gonna get some good information that they really need.
Do something for me. Give me a little bit more information, because again, I'm hearing this EYCE, whatever. What does that mean? What does that stand for?
EYCL is like the Nike basketball have a league called EYBL. And so those are the top teams for Nike. Those are the teams that Nike sponsor.
So the EYBL doesn't stand for anything? What is that? What the significance of those letters?
I forget. I ain't gonna lie to you. I forget exactly what it stands for, but it's through Nike. It's the Nike League.
Okay.
And it's all the top teams that Nike has, the top players. So say for instance, if a DJ Jones was coming up in the day, now Nike was probably sponsor a DJ Jones team. And so now Richard Hogan or Mike Wood's team that plays for that same organization, we will play for that same organization, but we wouldn't be with the EYBL. We would be with the EYCL. So DJ Jones' team is going to play for free and get all the gifts, all the shoes, all the stuff. Myself and Richard's team, we got to pay for everything, and we got to go and do all of that things that you don't have to do and your parents don't have to do. We're taking care of y'all, and so that's what a lot of people don't understand when they put out the EYCL and the EYBL. They are two separate entities. They're not. The kids that are playing EYCL, they might as well go play for a mom and pop program and try to get into the league. Go to play in front of D2 coaches or whatever, because they're not the tournaments are so huge now, DJ.
Yeah.
You might go to Louisville for the Runs for the Roses. Everybody, you're gonna see this summer that all these local teams gonna post. We went to the Runs for the Roses, but they ain't gonna post how many college coaches watch their kid play. Right. And what's going to happen is you can go down to that event and you can go to 5 courts down there. They're going to have a Nike court, EYBL court, Elite 40 court, Elite Super 40 court. They're going to have all those, and that's where all the college coaches are going to be at. Then you're going to have 80 more courts in the whole facility. Nobody's there.
Mike, you know what? Richard has some information for us, by the way.
I do, Mike. EYBL stands for Elite Youth Basketball League. EYCL stands for Elite Youth Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
That's confusing, because again, one is going to furnish and package everything. The other one is you got to furnish your own stuff.
Yes, that's the truth of the matter. And again, it's sad that people they want to kill the messenger. It's sad that you want to kill the messenger versus listening to the truth. They're not getting anything with EYCL. You're just playing. You're paying for the other kids to play. You're paying for the Nike kids to play. I'll give you a prime example. One of our own, Olivia Cochran, played for a program called FBC. And when she left our program, she went and played for a program called FBC. They were a independent program. They didn't have no sponsorship, but he had all the top dogs on the team. Camila Cardoza, Raven Johnson, who's playing in Indiana Fever, Olivia Cox. Every kid that he had on that team was ended up being a McDonald's All-American. So he didn't need Nike. Everybody called him to come to this tournament, and he played everywhere across the country for free. So he ended up getting a sponsorship through Under Armour afterwards. But what he did, he went out and got all the best players, and he controlled what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. What people don't understand is that I had Area Butts. You remember area bus?
Oh, yeah.
A Carver graduate. I had area bus. Probably the worst AAU team I've ever had in my life. But she was so good, and everybody wanted her. Everywhere we went, we were like rock stars. It was like 90 coaches would come to watch us play. So if you got good players, coaches going to come watch them play no matter what team they're on.
Right.
Coaches are going to watch players. They ain't going to look at the score and who won games and all that. They're going to get the best players. And I think in our community, what we do, we fight so much with each other instead of building something great here for Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City area. We tend to spread out, take the kids to Atlanta, and won't have a foundation where we can build and put the best kids in our community together, and maybe pull a couple here and out from outside, like we did with Michaela Timpson, who's playing with the Indiana Fever. But majority of our kids, 85-90% of our kids, gonna be local kids that'll be good. And you got coaches. If you had coaches that were willing to learn from people like yourself, like people from me. Then we could be pretty good, but they choose not to do it, and they will not learn, and they're gonna tell their parents not to come. They're gonna tell their parents not to listen. They're gonna tell their parents that that's old stuff, and it's not that way. But I promise you, can't none of them. What you do with your show, can't none of them call people to say, okay, I want you to be able to talk to this. DJ, I'll say this with last thing I say this. There are so many kids and coaches that still call me, that the kids don't even play for me. They're calling me, asking me about their kid. What about this kid? And they're right here in this community. And if I call names, they'll think I'm doing something crazy. But I have it all the time where kids have left our program and they want to come back because they've been with people who promised them the world and haven't delivered anything. So again, I hope that what I'm saying, and that's why I'm bringing Bridget and all these guys here. They're gonna hear almost the same story, but they're gonna hear from some people that I think they look up to a little bit more. So hopefully we can get that accomplished, and we can get more people to come.
Yeah, no question about it, Mike. And the connections you have built last week, we even had a national scout, Dan Olson, a mutual friend, that's talk about the talent level that's here in this city. But it is the summer months, and I know that the kids are just really busy trying to get summer camps in. We got basketball camps going on right now. We got some more basketball camps next week. Just talk about what are some of the activities that you got going on during the summer for Girls Inc. It doesn't have to necessarily be basketball, but do you have any summer camps? Do you have anything that you offer just to keep these kids occupied for the summer?
Yeah, we do all this sports. We got pickleball going. We have a brand new pickleball court up to our DHC center. So that Houston, they donated. Our pool was not working well. So they filled the pool up, and we made a brand new pickleball court up there. So we're gonna have a pickleball camp this year. We're doing tennis. We're doing soccer as well. We do basketball. We're doing flag football camp, and we're gonna also do golf. So we've had a golf team. So we try to provide a lot of opportunities for kids at Girls Inc. to come in and do the things over the summer, as well as one of the great things that Girls Inc. they're going on this summer as well now with our kids. They've added clubs to it. So, back in the day, when we went to school, we had home ec and all that stuff. It taught you how to cook and sew and all those things. So they're bringing things like that back to the mix because, again, the kids that we serve, some of these kids are home by themselves. Some of these kids parents don't even have time to sew their clothes up. So if we can teach a kid how to get a needle and thread and put something together and sew some clothes up or whatever like that, that's beneficial. So it's a lot of things going on. As far as the sports camps, other camps that we got, we're going to be doing Summer League like I've always done. I started this with Jeff Battles with the B League. I saw that the B League kids were not getting the development that they needed, or they wasn't getting the time on the court that they needed. So I asked Jeff and Kendall, Kendall has done an amazing job in allowing me to continue and taking it to another level. But we have the B Leagues from the middle school. They come in. We don't charge them a penny, Richard and DJ, to play. We just play games. They had a whole season this year. They played more games than the regular A team. I gave out B team, first team, all B team awards. Gave out first team, our second team, all B team award for both boys and girls. We gave out 20 awards for that. We gave out championship trophies. When we do the summer league, we charge nothing for it. Trying to give these kids and these coaches the opportunity to come in. Don't let money, I always say, don't let money be the reason why you don't play. So I don't charge them anything. So you can't say, well, we're not funded. We don't have the money. I even reach out sometimes and I go above and beyond and say, listen, if you need some help with transportation and getting your kids there, I'll help you. So again, trying to do everything I possibly can to help. I know we got a lot of stuff going on in our community with our teens, trying to provide. We're going to talk with the radio station and doing some other things and trying to do some things and give these kids some opportunity to do some stuff. But hey, man, we only could do so much. But offering, we need people to step up and bring and be a part and doing the things that we can do because, again, it costs money to do a lot of things to open up these buildings. But again, I'm trying my best to do things and keep it as low, as cost efficient as I possibly can.
Mike, it's always great to talk to you, and I know that we're up against the clock, but once again, pressure makes diamonds, a championship mindset. With Bridget Gordon, I'm pleased to be a host, Lisa
Yes,
MC,
sir.
rather.
Yes, sir.
However, let folks know how they can get there, because some people think, well, how much are tickets? You've cleared that up now, and I want you to make sure that you reiterate that so that they'll know that exactly what they need to do and where they need to come.
Look, man, all you got to do is get in touch with DJ Jones or myself and say, I want to be there. We have about 25 more spots that I think. Now, I hope that everybody who's reserved spots show up like they say they're going to show up. But it's free, like DJ said. It's going to be at Girls Inc. Landmark next door to the Walmart on Victory Drive at 6 p.m. Casual dress attire. Let me get this clear too, DJ. Parents, you can bring anybody under the age grade of 8th grade. You cannot have your high school student there because it's a violation for the NCAA.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah. So say that again. Say that again.
So you cannot bring your high school kid. They'll be able to look at it through the Georgia Alabama Sports if they want to, because Richard and Thrift is going to be there. It is a violation of the NCAA. It's a dead period, no contact period. So these coaches cannot have any contacts with high school kids. 8th graders, and what I mean by 8th graders, if you're not entered the 9th grade yet, your school year has started. So these kids that are in the 8th grade, that was a talented group of kids, Richard, that we saw in the middle school tournament. Parents need to bring those kids. You can bring those kids. You can come. It's free. Again, Landmark next door to the Walmart. We're gonna feed you. We'll have a lot of great things. Got a camp too, DJ.
Okay.
Camp going on tonight. Now that camp is $20, and all those proceeds will go to Girls Inc. But that camp is $20. Michael T. White, Mike actually started this evaluation stuff with high school kids, with girls and boys. He's a guy like what they call us, the old guy in this. He's a guy been doing it for a long time. So he's gonna be in town. He's actually gonna get here about 2:00 today. And he's going to be evaluating the kids. He's going to tweet about them, take pictures about them, go online. If y'all want to go to All-Star Girls Report Hoops, you can see what the man does. He's phenomenal. He's done boys and the Lopez twins who played for the everything. He's big time, and he's the one. Dan used to work for him. Dan Olson used to work for him. Brett McCormick used to work for him. He's always been behind the scene. You can't find a picture on social media for him, but he's gonna be in town now. He's doing it himself. So if you got a kid, you can start with this event. You can start tonight. It's gonna be $20 at Girls Inc. starting at 6:00, and you can bring your kid. It's a walk up. You can pay at the door. But we're looking forward to having a big show in there tonight and making that work there too, as well as Bridget and Chesterton. I'm going to be there tonight as well. But again, no high school kids. This is just strictly for middle school kids.
Mike, we appreciate you as always, man. Hey, look, you take care, and I'll probably check you out at that camp a little bit later.
Sounds good, brother.
All right. You take care.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, man, doing wonderful things. And again, I love Mike to come on and to tell his story, because again, so many people, rush to judgment and they just trust the word and the gossip that's on the street. And most of that is 99% of that is false, fake, and fake news, as they like to say.
Absolutely. I appreciate Mike Woods and everything he's done. And his family, very close knit in the basketball community, with his daughter coaching at Northside, his son AD over at Double Churches. And he's just had a huge impact in the community of basketball in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk to a guy that actually works and travels with the Atlanta Braves. His name is Chad Bishop. We're going to find out all about this great start to this season. And again, these hot Major League Baseball players that line the team of the Atlanta Braves. Chad Bishop will be with us. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you are listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Baby, I took a half and she took the whole thing slow.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sportsvisions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Tiffany Maddox with a look at your morning's headlines. The Columbus City Council chambers were packed Tuesday night as the council took up the first reading of a proposed technology overlay district. The reading was not explicitly about a data center in Columbus, rather new rules to set standards if one is ever proposed in the city. Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court is allowing Alabama to use a congressional map favoring Republicans in this year's midterm elections. The High Court's order blocks a lower court ruling that the map intentionally discriminates against Black people. And as summer travel ramps up, blood donations are dropping, and local blood centers say the need is becoming critical. LifeSouth says the shortage is already hitting critical levels, especially for type O blood. Officials say one donation could make a life-saving difference. For WRBL News 3, I'm Tiffany Maddox. Make it a great day.
Good Wednesday morning. Clouds are moving out, leaving behind a clear start by daybreak with temperatures in the 60s. Plenty of sun through the morning. Afternoon high temperatures reach 80 later today, while breezy at times and clear and a slight chill as we go overnight with those lows falling into the mid 50s. A calm and quiet forecast through the end of the week. We are tracking rain chances arriving back into the forecast by Sunday.
To get the full story, visit sportsvisions921.com and click on the WRBL tab. Sportsvisions 92.1.
At Cartoons Car Stereo in Columbus, buy it today, get it installed today. That's right, same day installation. Cartoons, Rockford Fosgate products, stereo head units, amps, speakers, speaker boxes, alarms, remote starts, navigation units, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and so much more. Get same day installation today. Call or stop by today for details. Cartoons on Veterans Parkway in Columbus.
It's Welcome to Summer Weekend at Synovus Park, presented by Aflac. June 9th through the 14th, the Clinkstones host the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Thursday, enjoy Soccer Night with a soccer scarf giveaway presented by Aflac, plus Thursday and $3 domestic specials. Friday, it's Margaritaville Night with post-game fireworks. And Saturday, the first 1,000 fans receive a Hawaiian shirt giveaway, plus a pregame concert from Immortal Pearl and Kids Run the Bases from Raising Cane's. Get your tickets today at clinkstones.com.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, 12 to 3 on Sportsvisions 92.1. Now back to the Sportsvisions morning show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Wednesday morning and welcome back to the Sportsvisions morning show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building. Big shout out to Mike Woods, and of course we'll be going over to check out that camp a little bit later and also be emceeing that event tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Hey, without further ado, let's go right to him. He is the beat writer for the Atlanta Braves on behalf of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. His name is Chad Bishop. Chad, how are you, my friend?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Good morning.
Man, it seemed like it's been forever. And, of course, you've been busy doing your thing. But one thing is for sure, the Atlanta Braves are still the hottest team in Major League Baseball right now, and you are riding that train with them.
It's wild, man. Like just every night you get to the ballpark, you expect the Braves to win, and when they don't, that's typically the story. Because night in and night out, they're putting up W's. Doesn't seem to matter who's in the lineup. Doesn't seem to matter who's healthy. Doesn't seem to matter if the pitcher has an off night. Doesn't seem to matter if the bullpen has an off night. They seem to find a way to win. Even last night at the ballpark, facing a good Blue Jays team and Kevin Gossman, a really good pitcher, blew a 2-0 lead, had a 3-2 lead, and then Matt Olson, it's a home run in the sixth, and they make it hold. So it's just been a lot of fun to watch this team and get to know the guys and get to see different guys come through each and every night.
41 victories so far this season, and I tell you what, you've been riding right there in the front, and had a bird's eye view and with the front row seat. Has anything changed as you watch this team mature from week to week?
I think the thing that has changed is I don't know if confidence is the right, maybe belief, right? I mean, every team in spring training is going to say, we believe we have a good team. We like our clubhouse, all the cliche things. I mean, you guys know covering sports. That's what everybody says in the preseason. Right. But I think the thing that has changed with these Braves is once they start to stack these wins and these series together, the belief has grown, and it's not outspoken. I mean, guys aren't saying, "Wow, we never thought we'd win 41 out of 60 games," but you can tell in their demeanor and their body language that, all right, they're starting to believe that this is a special team and this could be a special season. While also knowing, right, with the dichotomy that we still got 4 months left of the season. So very, very tempered excitement, but there's definitely some excitement in that clubhouse.
Chad, I want to talk about Bryce Elder. He made an all-star appearance back in 2023. He had a couple of rough seasons in 24 and 25, but a 250 earned run average. It looks like he could possibly make another all-star appearance. Is he starting to solidify himself as the number 2 starter behind Chris Sale?
Yeah, absolutely. Not even all-star game. I mean, he's going to be in that conversation for the Cy Young. I don't know if he'll win it with some of the talent that's in the National League, but yeah, he's pitched outstanding and really impressive last night, considering the outing before in Boston. Walt Weiss called it nickel and dimed. He gave up a lot of singles and a lot of hard hit balls that fell in instead of finding gloves, and was touched up for 5 runs, probably his worst outing statistically. And he came right back last night, gave up an early home run, but recovered from that. Just his ability to sort of evolve from a maturity standpoint to understand that, look, there's going to be some hits, there's going to be some runs. I'm going to keep attacking guys and keep pitching to my strengths. That's been evident time and time again, and it's resulted in really, really good numbers for Bryce Elder. And for that reason, like you said, I mean, he's definitely in line. I think all-star voting actually opens today, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Bryce Elder among the mix as the top pitchers in the National League to get in that game. And props to him for putting in the work and getting it done.
Chad Bishop is our guest this morning on the Sports Visions morning show, and Chad is the beat writer for the Atlanta Braves on behalf of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Chad, Matt Olson has 17 dingers. And he's among the league leaders in home runs, and what I consider he's having possibly and definitely an all-star season, and maybe again if he continues to excel and do the things that we know he's capable of doing, could be in the MVP voting.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because not a lot of folks mention Matt Olson when you talk about MVP, because he's just kind of like ho-hum Matt Olson, right? Like, he's not very flashy. He's not, flipping bats, and not there's anything wrong with that, right? But he's just kind of, even his, consecutive games played streak, he doesn't like talking about that. He just goes out and does his job. But yeah, man, 17 homers, doubles across the board, RBIs everywhere. I thought it was interesting. Walt Weiss on Tuesday before the game said, the great ones, when they go into sort of lulls or slumps, they last about a week. Yeah. And the average Joes, those take about a month. And that Matt Olson's in that category of being a great one. Like, he went through a little bit of a dip here recently, but hardly noticeable, because he's mashing the cover off the ball. That home run last night, one of the ones, I haven't seen something like that in a long time. I mean, 49-degree launch angle, looks like a fly ball off the bat. He dropped his shoulders in his head. He thought he flew out to right field, and that ball kept going for what turned out to be the game-winning home run. So, yeah, he's having an awesome season so far.
Chad, Drake Baldwin was put on the injured list because of an oblique strain. And just talk about the severity of the injury. Is it long-term? When can we expect Drake back in the lineup?
The hope is Drake Baldwin. He has a grade 1 oblique strain, and grade 1 means the lowest variety. Now it's still painful, right? But it's still dangerous. But they're going to be really, really cautious with him. Alex Anthopoulos was on television over the weekend, said mid-June. Walt Weiss on Tuesday said the Braves' next homestand, so not this week, but 2 weeks from now. So I would expect sort of the end of this month, right? At some point, we didn't get a chance to talk to Drake Tuesday. He wasn't in the clubhouse at the game, but just did not make himself available. So again, that oblique thing is very tricky. Spencer Strider had one earlier this year, missed an entire month. Now, he's a pitcher compared to a catcher. Drake's got to worry about swinging the bat, getting in the crouch, coming up and throwing, running, all the things that come with being a professional catcher. No, I hate to say no reason to rush him back right now, because the Braves are doing so well. But honestly, like, you want Drake Baldwin in September and possibly October. These June games, you can have him miss a couple extra to make sure that thing is 100% ready to go.
Chad, one more question before we let you get out of here. Again, Chris Sale, he is performing at a high level, and again, as one of the aces, he's ranked amongst one of the top in the league. How's he holding up health wise?
He's doing great, but that's certainly probably in the back of everyone's mind, including his. I mean, Chris is 37 years old, and he's dealt with injuries really his entire career, even as recently as 24, where he had that outstanding season for the Braves, and then had an injury crop up, and he couldn't make the playoffs. So he's pitching amazing. I mean, the other day at Boston, throwing 98 miles an hour at his age, striking out people left and right, continues to climb that career strikeouts list. So, yeah, he's been fantastic. And we talked about Bryce Elder being an all-star and in that Cy Young conversation. Chris Sale is right there too. But it all comes down to staying healthy. That's out of someone's control. But if Chris Sale can continue to stay healthy and pitch like he's pitching, he's going to carry this team into the postseason.
Chad, we always appreciate you, big guy. Hey, look, thank you so much and have a great rest of your morning.
All right, guys. See you later.
Take care.
Take care, Chad.
That's Chad, Mr. Chad Bishop, that is.
That's him.
And, of course, we are very, very proud to have him check in with us periodically to give us the insights on the Atlanta Braves. And I think that he gave them a check mark saying, hey, look, this team is fine and they will continue to do well.
They're going to be okay. It is going to be okay. And, by the way, they got their next home series.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks, they play the Giants.
Okay.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, again, I know that's one of your favorites, but again, I don't know how well the Giants are doing as well.
They're not very good this year.
But you know what? The Braves have the bullseye on their back. So everybody, it doesn't matter if you're in last place or if you're in just a couple of games away from the Braves. Everybody's trying to knock the big boy off the block.
Yeah, absolutely. But, yeah, we always appreciate Chad Bishop coming on. As he was our Georgia Tech correspondent. Now he's our Braves correspondent, and it's always great just to chop it up with him.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sportsvisions 921. This is the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
This is the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sportsvisions 92.1.
It's Military Appreciation Night, Saturday, June 6th, as the Columbus Lions take on the Carolina Predators at 7. Come enjoy this action-packed night of football, an incredible halftime show featuring Christian and Scooby, the gravity-defying duo bringing their acrobatic and hand-balancing act to the Columbus Civic Center. And be sure to sign up for the Kick It to Win It challenge at the merchandise table for a chance to kick a field goal for $5,000. It's all going down Saturday, June 6th, so come out and support your undefeated Columbus Lions. Get tickets at the Columbus Civic Center. Sons Chevrolet is moving to our brand new home on Whittlesey Boulevard, and we're celebrating with a grand opening giveaway you don't want to miss. Register now for a chance to win a brand new 2026 Chevrolet Trax, plus oil changes for life. Register online before June 20th. Join us for the ribbon cutting on June 18th and the grand opening event leading up to the big drawing on June 20th at 5 p.m. Eastern. No purchase necessary. Visit sonschevy.com to enter and get all the details today. Sons Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hey, it's the Hubster, Gill's Auto Sales, your number one pre-owned dealer in Georgia and Alabama. We have over 400 vehicles to choose from, like new ones and hard to find ones. Back that up with a free 30-month, 30,000-mile warranty and great financing in 6 locations. And you got the one dealership that everybody in the Valley loves, Gill's Auto Sales, celebrating 40 years. And you can always find the Hubster at Gill's on Highway 80 in good old Phoenix City, Alabama.
I'm in my late 60s. My husband died a few years ago. He did all of our taxes. I sold a piece of property last year, and I forgot to claim the proceeds of the sale. Next thing I know, I got a letter from the IRS telling me that I owe over $50,000. Now I have a huge tax problem. I don't have that kind of money. I wish I knew who to call.
If you sold property in the last calendar year or didn't claim all of your part-time or even retirement income, you could be in big trouble with the IRS. Call first before they send you a letter. If you've already got a letter, call. We'll help you file years of past tax returns and save you time and money. So call the tax doctor. The call is confidential and free.
800-241-0136. 800-241-0136. 800-241-0136. That's 800-241-0136.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself and Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Your home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sportsvisions 92.1. Now back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. DJ Jones and, of course, Richard Holdridge, Richie Rich, the Swiss Army knife. And man, tell you what, just rocking and rolling this morning, man. Of course, I had a wonderful interview with Rennie Curry. We talked to him earlier to kick everything off at 6:30. And then, of course, Mike Woods, who has an incredible event tomorrow that he's going to be hosting at Girls Inc. Again, it's Pressure Builds a Diamond, the story of a championship team. And again, he's had some incredible guests coming in to feature the very best in Bridget Gordon, who was a former Olympian and, of course, former national champion, two-time champion from the University of Tennessee, and played for Pat Summitt. So a lot of folks that when you say Pat Summitt's name, they perk up in their seats because they know it's just like mentioning Bear Bryant or Nick Saban or Vince Lombardi, some of the greats that have ever coached and ever played. That's how the same vein that we talk about with a Pat Summitt.
Yeah, a lot of greats that come up under the tutelage of Pat Summitt, legendary coach at Tennessee. And we're glad that Bridget Gordon's going to be here in Columbus, and she's already here, just part of that basketball camp that's today. And then with the Pressure Makes Diamonds, Georgia Alabama Sports Live is going to be streaming it in case you can't make it out.
And if you have anybody that is interested in coming, all you have to do is just let Mike Woods know, 706-393-1061. Give him a call, and it's absolutely free. It's not going to cost you a thing. You can get a meal out of the deal, and obviously, for the life of me, I can't understand why young coaches in this town that want to be leaders of young boys and girls don't want to see people and hear from people that has achieved where they, maybe they don't want to go there, but at least they want to be good at what they're doing. And they got some of the best that has done it that'll be in town.
DJ, I don't get it. If a coach does not take advantage of a free clinic where you're listening to some great coaches, coaches go to coaching clinics all the time. They want to get better. Yeah. They want to try to get their team better.
Right.
Why not take advantage of this opportunity, especially if you are a young coach? I don't understand why they would just turn their nose at something like this.
Well, I hope it's not that they're turning their noses. And again, I do know that it's summer. The schools have just really gotten out, and then maybe they had plans or vacation. But those that are in town that have an opportunity to get this information absolutely free, hey, shame on you if you don't. Because again, Chester Nichols, is a coach at the University of Alabama. Michael White, he is the founder of All-Star Girls Reports. And now you want to start your network. I don't know who you are or where you are, but coaches, these people are experts. And again, Bridget herself, just to be able to be in her presence, to hear her talk about, the trials and tribulations
exactly.
and that of which she overcame, and it might inspire you to inspire your kids. But I don't worry about, once you put the information out there, again, like I told Mike, the people that are there are the ones that are supposed to be there. And what between just in Muskogee County alone, and I know Mike kept addressing Kendall Mills, but private schools, whether you're in the GIAA or whether you're in Phoenix City in Alabama, it's bigger than that. We got coaches in the surrounding areas. It's not just for Muskogee County schools. It is for all middle school and high schools. Actually, it's for the middle school coaches because, again, it's for high school coaches as well, but You just can't bring your ninth graders at there. If they're going to be in the ninth grade, they are in high school, they can't come. It's against the rules because you're going to, active coaches there. And right now it's not a period in which the coaches are permitted to speak with the high school student athletes.
Yeah, exactly. It's considered dead week here for the NCAA coaches. So that's why it would be considered a recruiting violation. But you could still watch it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live and still get that message. You don't have to physically be here if you are a high school player. And when you think of girls Inc., you think of girls, but this is also for boys too. I mean, this is girls coaches and boys coaches. So get that out of the back of your head that it's just, it's Girls Inc. It's just for girls coaches. No, this is all coaches at all levels that are welcome to attend. Just can't bring your high school players.
And of course, they have a camp today that obviously you can walk up with, of course, $20, but you can pay and play. And again, I can imagine not having the opportunity. We talk about each coaches getting the toolage, but having, whether it's Bridget going to be there today, and of course, if Michael T. White is going to be there today, as well as Chester Nichols. These folks are going to be working in the camp, and these are folks that understand and know exactly what folks are looking at in order for you to go to the next level. I would want to be there with bells and whistles on.
Yeah, I would want to be there too, especially a father with 2 daughters. One of them might have interest in playing basketball, just to get that knowledge. What can I do as a parent that wants to see success in my kids? Like, do I go the AAU circuit? Do I do travel ball? Do I play multiple sports? It's the summertime. You got summer camps everywhere. What can I do to keep my kids occupied in sports? Because I don't know if you know about this, DJ. I mean, I've actually bragged about my daughters, like when they were young in gymnastics. I joked around and said, I'm the Richard Williams of gymnastics. So the Venus and Serena Williams of gymnastics are coming up. And it turns out that King Richard, that's my nickname too. So I'm just kidding.
I got you. Hey, listen, while we're talking basketball, coming up in just a little bit, actually at the top of the hour, well, Sam Mitchell, he's, of course, a Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer, the pride and joy of Columbus High School from right here in Columbus, Georgia. Matter of fact, he was the Ledger Enquirer Basketball Player of the Year in 1981. Went down to Mercer and, of course, rewrote the record books down there, and, of course, became a Hall of Famer there. Went over to Europe and made a name for himself. He didn't get he wasn't a bonus baby. He didn't get drafted. Well, he got drafted, but he, of course, was cut and had to go and really toe the line and really reach deep down in his soul to make sure that he wanted to pursue something that he had dreamed up all his life, and ended up playing 14 years in the National Basketball Association with the National Basketball Association, and was a very revered and a very well-respected player, to the point of him being announced or at least acknowledged as a head basketball coach. Was even the player NBA Coach of the Year in 2007. Yep. Sam Mitchell. He's going to be with us to chop it up, talking about the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs.
I think it's great that we can have a guy like Sam Mitchell here on the Sportsvisions Morning Show, an NBA analyst, currently a very well-respected in this community when it comes to basketball. The camps and the foundation he does with Mark Upshaw, the Sam Mark Foundation, has just been incredible in this community. And I'm a huge basketball fan. Before I even considered Columbus my home, I followed Sam Mitchell's career when he was with the Minnesota Timberwolves because I was a huge fan of the NBA in the 90s. He was part of that expansion team with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He'd go on to play for the Indiana Pacers. He went back to the Timberwolves, and he's responsible for helping develop Kevin Garnett. And you could tell when he was playing that he had coaching in his blood, in his DNA, and then he went on to be a very successful coach as well.
Absolutely, and we'll tell you what, thrilled to have Sam on coming up at the top of the hour. So, we got a couple of minutes before we get there, but in the meantime, obviously, you can text a friend and tell a friend to text a friend that Sam Mitchell will be joining the Sportsvisions Morning Show at the top of the hour.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that. And I know that the Sam Mark Dream to Achieve basketball camp is coming up in July at CSU?
Yep. I don't have the official date just yet, but I know that it's going to be rolling that out because we got the football camps that are getting out of the way. Of course, Mikael Williams on that is going to be on June the 13th, is it?
June the 13th at Otis Spencer Stadium. Cannot wait for that. I definitely got to make my way down there. And I know that Georgia Alabama Sports Live Sports Vision, we might be involved in that somehow, but obviously as a 49ers fan, and I'm a huge fan of him regardless when he played at Georgia, played at Hardaway. And I think that this is great that he's coming back to Columbus, giving back to the community. And I know that we appreciate Mikael Williams and what he has done for this community.
It's a great time to be a Hardaway Hawk man. Of course, Mikael's coming back. Wayne Johnson is joining the staff as the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. And, they have a lot of excitement going on right now. So Kelly Ellison is athletic director over there, man. I know she's excited and fired up about, the program and with all the big names that are coming around. Of course, George Washington Carver Tigers have brought home, of course, Jarvis Jones, and that was quite a ride and quite an opportunity to publicize and basically galvanize the Carver Tigers community to a state championship. Wayne Johnson has an opportunity to do the same thing. I know that he's not the head coach, but Wayne will be in the head coach's ear, and of course we will have the head coach, the new head coach from Hardaway on real soon. But man, I tell you, it's exciting to see what's going on at Hardaway from not only Mikhail, and again, he's one of how many first-round picks that have come out of there?
And that's Marlon Smith in 2013.
That's high cotton. That's high cotton. Absolutely. So I know the Hardaway Hawks folks and the alumni and Letterman and all the boosters and the Hawk backers back in the day. That's what they call the Hawk boosters, the Hawk backers. And I remember when Hardaway had the best weight room in town and they had the best uniforms. And you know what? That was during a different era. But hey, man, who's to say that couldn't possibly come back?
And guess what, DJ? We have the official football schedule for the upcoming 2026 season. They are going to be hosting Randolph Clay on August the 21st. Cannot wait to see Hardaway, as they have not made the playoffs since 2021. They got close a couple of years ago. I think that Hardaway is going to be back. We got a different reclassification, and I'm really excited to see how Hardaway does on the football field this year.
Absolutely. Hey, in a minute, Jay, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Make sure, like I said, you got to have a few minutes here during this break. So go ahead and call a friend, text a friend, whatever it needs to take so that they can come on and get some insight, because I know that Sam's going to basically not only let us know about who he likes in the finals, but you know what? The Spurs are so young, man. I mean, the best player in the world right now is only 22 years old, and Victor Wembanyama. And of course, those other cast and members of his team, hell, they're around 21, 23, 24.
Yeah, and I think this is what the Knicks have: experienced coach. I think that Mike Brown has got a little bit more experience than Max Johnson, who took over for the legendary Greg Popovich. But also that you have this savvy, veteran, scrappy Knicks team going up against a team that's got talent, but Dylan Harper's a rookie. Stephon Castle's a 2-year player. Wemby's a 3-year player. Your top 3 picks in the last 3 years are young. And yeah, they have veterans like De'Aaron Fox. You've got Harrison Barnes, who's got really the only player on their team with championship experience is Harrison Barnes, who won a ring with the Warriors in 2015.
Yes, indeed. And of course, this series, actually, believe it or not, has 2 African-American coaches there. And you made mention of the fact that coach for the New York Knicks is
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, and of course Mitch Johnson is the actual head coach. So that's 2 guys there that are really making history. Without, obviously, that's not the story, but again, it is a story that's a big part of what we're going to be watching tonight in the finals. So
yeah, that's exactly. And I'm a historian, and it's also the rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll have Sam Mitchell, of course, talking about the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA Finals. Game 1 tonight. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sportsvisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
You're listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Sportsvisions 92.1.
Want to win a brand new Chevy Trax? Visit SonsChevrolet.com to register and get details. New location coming soon. Sons Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Attorney advertising. Blake Swan, 4751 Best Road, College Park, Atlanta, Georgia. 921-200-7066. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
What I tell you about that dog? What I tell you about that dog? I told you the dog was hungry. I told you the dog was hungry. Told you the dog would bite. What I tell you, the dog would bite. I told you the dog would chase you. I told you the dog would chase you. Top dog law. You see what the dog doing? Do you understand how he moving? Do you see the marketing that the dog is doing? Do you see him on TV? Did you hear him on the radio? Did you see the challenge? That dog is hungry. Do you know the extent that he's willing to go to let y'all know? If you get into an accident, that you know exactly who to call. If you ever get hurt and it wasn't your fault, you know what to do. Make the call. Call the dog. Top Dog Law.
me bring up something that everyone always asks. Do you buy vehicles? Yes, we buy vehicles at Bratton Automotive. And also, I give top dollar. Bring your vehicle to me. It will take 10 minutes, and I will give you a written appraisal. At Bratton Automotive, everybody's going to leave with a smile.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the GHSA and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone,
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
but treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. Getting a pass is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Denver Broncos 1987 AFC champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Great Wednesday morning and welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building, broadcasting from the PNB studios in beautiful Midtown Columbus, just a 40-yard dash or so down from the Aflac Tower. Enjoying it. Of course, we are proud and privileged to have the opportunity to help you get your day started. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge, as I made mention before. Hey, look, big shout out to Chad Bishop, AJC beat writer for the Atlanta Braves. He was able to come on and give us some wonderful insight, and the Braves are the hottest team in Major League Baseball currently. Of course, Matt Olson quietly having an MVP-like team season so far. 17 dingers, 17 home runs that he has to, of course, lead the Braves and to be amongst the top 5 in the major leagues. Mike Woods, who has an important, very, very, I guess, informative event tomorrow. Right. He's going to bring in the great Bridget Gordon, and she's going to be here to, of course, talk and work with our kids here and over at Girls Inc. and some other folks that'll be in town. And also Rennie Curry, an inspirational start to the morning, 6:30. Rennie Curry that made the transition from University of Georgia and an NFL player to a corporate speaker on the speaking circuit right now, and being called on by some of the top corporations across America to speak to not only the management team, but of course the top leaders in a lot of the companies that we all recognize.
Yeah, great guest so far, and can't wait for this next one coming up.
Absolutely, he's the pride and joy of Columbus, Georgia. He's a Columbus Blue Devil by way, of course, Mercer University, and he has a Mercer University Athletic Hall of Famer himself, a Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer as well. His name is Sam Mitchell. Sam, good morning. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, DJ. And if you don't throw all my accolades out there, man, make sure the state of Georgia, man. I'm in the state of Georgia Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Right, young fella.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? I like doing that. I was just chugging at you. We had this conversation before. But look, man, you've done it. You've been there, done it, got the T-shirt. As a player developing, meaning that, you got it out of the mud. You say, it's no secret. You talk about how, lousy you were, and I don't like using that word, but you basically say, you were a scrub, and you came out, somebody had to mark up, had to push you, and your other friends and teammates, and you blossom into this, wonderful basketball player who ended up, your senior year being the Ledger Enquirer 1981 Basketball Player of the Year.
Well, DJ, I don't dwell on it, but when I think back on it, it just reminds me of that. I often ask young kids when I go to basketball camps, you ask them what they want to be. And when they tell you all these things, I don't laugh because people used to laugh at me when I used to tell people my dreams. But I also remind kids that there's a huge difference in dreaming and actually putting the work in. And at some point, you got to stop dreaming and actually go to work. And if you're willing to do that, then the sky's the limit as far as what you can be.
Yes, Sam, you definitely put in the work in coming from Columbus, going to Mercer, leading them to the NCAA tournament in 1985. And I remember following your career when you were with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were an expansion team back in 1989, along with the Orlando Magic. And I remember going up, you had players like Pooh Richardson on that team. And you really done a great job just going from the Timberwolves to the Pacers, going back to the Timberwolves, but you were just an impact player. And I remember watching you play, but just talk about that work ethic that you were able to inspire to be a formidable NBA player that was really a coach on the court that led to your coaching career as you helped develop the young players as well.
Well, I just think for most players, the hardest thing is finding your niche in the NBA, starting your role. And I think when you get to the NBA, you have all these illusions of being a star. Everybody wants to be Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, those guys. But you have to understand that you have to realize your talent level, and then you have to learn how to start within yourself, and then make yourself a viable piece of a team. And I just think that's the most difficult thing. There's a lot of talented players that can't figure out how to use the God-given talent that God gave them to work with 14 other guys, and that's the key. There's a lot of talented players, but at the end of the day, the two teams that are playing in the NBA Finals are the two teams. Not only are they the best team, but they're the teams that players on their roster star their roles.
Sam, before we get into the heavy lifting, I know that there's a part of you that has that dog in them, and most players and people don't realize the NBA, to make it to the NBA, it's hard. To make it in the NFL, it's hard. To make it as a Major League Baseball player is hard. I don't give a damn whether you get a free agent contract and you get cut during a spring training or summer workouts or whatever, or you play 10, 14, 15 years. It's hard. But for you, what comes to my mind, obviously, again, with being a late bloomer of sort, you, of course, getting the opportunity to go to the next level and you running in Lake Bottom with those combat boots on and people yelling at you. And tell that story again, man, because it's just a great incentive, a great motivator for me, and I know to others, to hear how you were able to overcome that and have that, itch in your craw.
Well, DJ, I grew up with my brother, older brother, Fessor Leonard, who played at Carver.
Yes.
He used to run in Army boots. And so when I was making my run and it was getting better, I used to get up in the morning, go down to Lake Bottom and run in my Army boots, run the park in the figure eight. And I just remember people would just ride by, blow the horn, laugh at me, make comments. People would tell me, the only thing you got to catch is a heat stroke. And all that stuff all those comments did was just fuel me to work hard. Because one thing I realized in life is that a lot of people are afraid to be successful. And what I mean by that, they're afraid to put the hard work in because they're afraid that they may not make it. And they can't handle that disappointment. But to me, as disappointed as I would be if I didn't make it, I would be more disappointed if I didn't try.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing for me. It's always that fear of not making it. But for me, the biggest thing is the fear of not trying. I can live with the disappointment of not being good enough, but I can't live with the fact that I'm too afraid to try.
Sam, you tell your story, and it has so many different chapters. Again, most people hear about NBA Coach of the Year, of course, the analyst on television now, and even the 14-year career. But you can remember the days that, of course, when you got drafted, and then you had to go overseas, and you came back, you played, and talk about that those early days, especially those days in Wisconsin.
Well, it was grand, DJ. I mean, I played in CBA. My first job was $300. I made $300 a week. And then I played in the USBL in the summertime, a summer pro league that started, and the team I was on was based out of Tampa, Florida. And I made $250 a week there. And we stayed in the dorms at the campus of University of South Florida. And I say all those things because, basketball will take you to a lot of different places, and there's a lot of things you can experience. And when you're going through all those things, it puts a mirror in your face, and you have to ask yourself every day, how bad do you want this? And again, can you live with the disappointment of not making it? And so I look back on all those years, and as hard as it was at the time when you're going through it, you don't think of it as being hard. You just think of it as the next challenge, the next step that you got to take. And so you learn from those things, man. And so when I finally got to the NBA and it was hard, I just reminded myself and just remembered how hard it was to get to where I was, and that now this is easy. I've done the hard work. All I got to do is put the work in to keep my job and to keep getting better and to keep grinding. And so it was just that mentality of always grinding, that if you do that, you're never going to really come up short.
Sam, you made mention of making $200 and $300, but when you finally got to the NBA and you got that first paycheck, what was on your mind? What were you thinking?
DJ, to be honest with you, man, the first thing I thought about, man, was getting my mom and dad a house.
Yeah.
That was the first thing, retiring my dad. My dad was working at the Swift mill at the time. My mom was working there. And it was just, for me, man, the biggest thing to get them out of that textile mill. And I just remember going to my dad and asking him, my mom, what do you need a month for you to stop doing this? And when he told me, I was like, okay, I can handle that. And, I was able for him to sit down, man, not working that mill anymore. And fortunate for me, man, my dad died 7 to 9 years after that. And I remember, being in the hospital with him and him telling me that, that he lived his life the way he wanted to live it. And that the thing that he was most appreciative of was that the last 9 years of his life, he got to wake up and do what he wanted to do. And that was the thing that was, a man that grew up in some hard times, that never really got a break or to be anything that he wanted to be. DJ, I often think about parents. They grew up in a time where they were told what they could be.
Right.
They didn't have endless opportunities like we had and like kids have today. And they think it's so shut out. But think about your parents when there was no chance. And so I often thought about my mom and dad, who they had dreams growing up, but they didn't have a chance to fulfill their dreams, man. So I used to always, instead of complaining, I used to always think about how fortunate I was, man, because my mom and dad, they never got a chance to dream.
Absolutely. One other question before we start talking about the finals tonight. I got to ask you this, with regards to you having, your early struggles and your early fight to climb to the top, when you were, I don't know if you had, sometimes you wondered how you're going to get money to pay your rent, how you're going to get gas money, if you had a car, bouncing a check, and then all of a sudden, your life flashes in front of you, and you're in a position in the NBA where you can appreciate those humble beginnings, and you can appreciate not having, again, versus, the kids that come out now with the NIL, and of course they get just as much money, in college as they get in the first couple of years in the NBA or in professional sports. So those kids miss all of that. They don't get to understand the anxiety and the pressures and the feeling of being without.
Yeah, DJ, look, man, I don't behoove those kids. The NIL is great. It gives these kids an opportunity to make some serious money at a young age. And if they're smart with it, it could be the foundation of their life. It can make their life easier or harder if they do the right things with that opportunity. So I don't begrudge these kids for having these opportunities as families. It's just making sure that you understand what to do with this money. And it's hard, man, when you grow up with nothing and then all of a sudden you're blessed with money that you never saw coming. It can be a curse and a blessing. It all depends on your thought process and how you use it. So it's a great opportunity for these kids, man. NIL, I don't know. I begrudge it. I went to college. I didn't know what NIL was. We got absolutely nothing but a scholarship. And, that was fine at the time, but I think things change. And, I like the NIL. I like the opportunity that it provides for families and stuff. At some point, they got to get their arms wrapped around it in football, because some of these universities are going to go bankrupt trying to win a football game. Dude, the thing that's amazing to me, it really puts a mirror to your face about what's important, right? Is it really educating your kids, or is it about entertaining your fans? And I thought colleges and universities were started to educate people, not really. And look, I'm a product of sports, but I think sometimes we've kind of lost sight of what we're doing. You know, we have professional sports league around the world. And now college, think about this, DJ. College is now the second highest professional sports league as far as basketball in the world.
Yeah.
Kids in college now make more money or just as much money as guys made in Europe.
Yeah.
Wow. Sam, tonight, game 1 of the NBA Finals, you've got the Spurs, a young team, trying to win their 6th championship in 27 years, which is incredible. The Knicks have not won a championship since 1973, but they have a little bit more experience as far as veterans on their team. The big story going into this finals is rest versus rust. The Knicks had all this time off after sweeping the Cavaliers, but the Spurs just got through with a 7-game series with the Thunder. Talk about what you're looking forward to with this matchup, and who do you think that could end up having the advantage going into this finals?
Well, guys, I picked the Knicks to win it. I picked the Spurs and the Knicks to be in the finals, and I picked the Knicks to win it. And it has nothing to do with experience. It just has the makeup of the teams. The Spurs play a lot of 3-guard guys. The Knicks don't. The Knicks, OG and Mikal Bridges, those are bookend forwards. Those guys are big, they're long, they're athletic. And I think they're going to be the difference. I think also the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns is so offensive-minded that Victor is going to have to guard Cat. Cat's a 40% three-point shooter, and he is not shy. He's not going to pull a check. He's not going to come out there and shoot 2 shots. Karl-Anthony Towns is going to try to get 30 on you. He's going to try to bust Victor. He's not afraid. And they're going to use, Mike Brown is going to use him to space the floor to make sure those driving lanes are open. Because if Victor goes and starts helping too much, Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson hurt him on the offensive glass. So I think this is going to be an interesting matchup, man, because the Knicks can provide some issues that the Spurs haven't seen thus far in the playoffs. Think about it. Victor, throughout the playoffs, have been able to just roam around and play in the field. Starting tonight, he's not going to be able to do that because he's going to have to account for Karl-Anthony Towns. And even when Mitchell Robinson comes in the game, if he overhelps, then Mitchell Robinson would kill OKC on the glass. So this is going to be different for San Antonio. But again, I think it has a chance to be a great series, but I'm taking the Knicks.
Basketball Hall of Famer Sam Mitchell is our guest this morning on the Sportsvisions morning show. And Sam, I know that we have limited time, but we still got. I got to ask you about 3 people in particular. Although that that list could have grown even larger. Karl-Anthony Towns, you had a relationship with this young man, and he's special. And I want you to talk a little bit about him, but also I want you to talk about Jalen Brunson, big body Brunson, as we call him. Here's a guy that's not big enough, not quick enough, doesn't have an explosive, high-flying game, but he can shoot the lights out of it. And then, of course, the freak of nature, Victor Wembanyama. Those 3 guys, starting with Karl-Anthony Towns, if you would.
Well, people forget Cat is so skilled, man. I remember the night before the draft, we were going to take Jahlil Okafor from Duke. And when I was leaving the building, our assistant general manager named Milt Noon grabbed me and said, look, Flip is thinking about taking Okafor. Remind Flip on the way out the building to just go back and watch Karl-Anthony Towns' high school basketball tapes. That's how deep we go. And I mentioned that to Flip. Flip went home, he watched Karl-Anthony Towns' high school basketball tape, and he came back and he had this little thing he does. He writes the name of the guy he was going to draft in the palm of his hand. And when we got off the elevator that morning, I asked him, who you going to draft? And he showed me the palm of his hand, and he said, Karl-Anthony Towns. And he said when he went back and watched that tape, Karl-Anthony Towns played point forward in high school. And that's why we drafted him. You see Mike Brown using him kind of as a center that can run the offense and make decisions. And the Knicks' offense has been flowing. So when you think about that and then you look at how much better Karl has gotten defensively, and he's always been a hell of a rebounder, he is one of the best centers in the league. People forget that. And so, look, yeah. And I think he's going to be the guy to occupy Victor. And then when you get to Jalen Brunson, it's not about size, it's skill set. If you watch Jalen Brunson play, his skill set is second to none. He puts you in that triple threat. He can rock you to sleep. He can shoot, make any shot. And then he's strong enough to get his own shot and create space. And then last but not least, you're talking about Victor. I couldn't tell you about Victor, DJ. Never seen anybody like him. I played against Sean Bradley. I played against Mark Eden. But those guys were just, they were just buildings. They were just there, right? You could go above them. You could go around them. But we've never seen the guy 7'5" and a freak of an athlete. Not only is he 7'5", but he's the best athlete on the floor.
Wow.
And then when you look at his skill set, his ability to pass, dribble, and shoot, DJ, if he stays healthy and as he keeps developing, people are not off when they say this kid could be the greatest player that's ever played.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. I think the big talk on the Spurs is that they showed up maybe a year early, but they have arrived. Wemby right now has proven that he is the best player in the NBA, if not one of the best players in the NBA. But one concern I have is his supporting cast. Dylan Harper's only a rookie. Stephon Castle's only a 2-year player. How do you think his supporting cast is going to help him out? And do you think having players like De'Aaron Fox and then Harrison Barnes, who has a ring already, do you think that's going to help them, especially when they're going up against a veteran team like the Knicks?
Well, why would you be concerned? Didn't they just beat the defending champions twice on their floor? Game 1 and Game 7?
Oh, yeah.
I would be just concerned as for other people. Guys, I mean, I think what they did in the Game 7 on the road against defending champions should tell them that being young is not a detriment to how they're going to play. I mean, we're not giving this young team credit. Everybody keeps saying they're a year early. Well, what does that look like a year early? What if somebody gets hurt? See, guys, you got to be willing to take advantage of these opportunities when they present themselves. As Dan Marino, there is no guarantee that you're going to get back to the finals. There's no guarantees. A lot of things can happen on that road. And so when I look at this, man, and they're looking at it right, this is an opportunity for them to win a championship. These are the same guys that got them here. Dylan Harper won games in the Western Conference Finals for the San Antonio Spurs. Let that resonate, a 20-year-old rookie. So, guys, after 82 games in the regular season, coming this far in the playoffs, there are no more rookies. It's just good versus good.
Sam, Richard, Thrift, and we can say a lot of different things about, LeBron James and is he going to come back? Should he come back and what he means to the league? But coming from you, a guy that obviously has played at every level and excelled, and also a guy who has coached in a league like that. And so you know what the lifestyle is all about. You know what the trials and tribulations, you know what the sacrifices that come with that. But I just ask you, do you think LeBron James is going to continue his career?
Oh, yeah. DJ, it wouldn't shock me if he plays another couple of years. I think LeBron loves it. And then when you look at the money, I mean, it's crazy. It's hard to walk away when you still are one of the top 20 players or 25 players in the league, even at your age. And they're paying the kind of money that they're paying. And you still have a love for the game. He still loves it. And he's still one of the better players. So if I was the Lakers, I would figure this out. I would try to figure out how to bring LeBron James back. Now, I would probably do a signing trade with Austin Reeves because I don't believe you could pay Luka and Austin the kind of money they're going to pay two guys that need the ball and are not good defenders. But I would definitely bring LeBron back. Or if I was a team out there, maybe like Cleveland or maybe, even the Hawks. If you can bring him in at the right price, who would not want LeBron James on their basketball team?
Sam, in a 20-year period from 1980 to 1999, we had 7 champions. But we've had 7 in the last 7 years, about to be 8 in the last 8 years. Is this good for the league, or do NBA fans miss the days of the 90s Bulls, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Pistons, when we had dynasties in the 80s and the 90s? Is this good for the league, though, having the 8 champions in 8 years?
I think both. I think when you have a dynasty like the Lakers or the Celtics and everybody trying to race to the top to catch them and knock them off, I think that's great. But I also think when you have an era where 8 different teams win in 8 different years, I think that's great because it shows you that the league is working. It shows you that the system is working. Look, there is no such thing as a perfect system. I know the NBA is always tweaking. And one thing we always complain about is that we would like for the NBA to make it easier to make trades. Look at the trade that was just made in football with Myles Garrett and A.J. Brown. Those type of trades in the NBA are hard to do with the money. Think about the league is trying to figure out how to trade Giannis, and they can't quite figure out how to do it. So I think they need to trades makes the league more exciting and makes it more interesting, and people follow it. Other than that, though, I think the league is in a good place. The young, talented kids that are coming down the pipeline, even more talented coming through. The guys that we have in the league are just getting better and better. So if you're the NBA, you got to be happy about where the San Antonio Spurs are, but you also got to be happy where the Knicks are. So I think right now the league got the best of both worlds. You got a small market team with a budding young superstar in the finals, and then you got the creme de la creme, the New York Knicks, in the finals. So the world media market. So right now, this year is the best of both worlds.
Sam, my final question for you, though, is do you feel that there's a significance in two African Americans coaching in the NBA Finals tonight?
DJ, I was hoping somebody was going to ask me that. Man, it just tells you, do you think about that? In a league where the numbers are getting smaller for African Americans to get the opportunity to be head coaches, the fact that the two head coaches in the finals, one's a young black coach and the other was a young black coach, an older black coach that been around, and Mike Brown. And so when you look at Miss Johnson and Mike Brown, it represents the future and the past of both coaches, man. And both of these guys are excellent coaches. It just tells you when people are given the opportunity, they can succeed. They just need the opportunity. And, San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich and that organization saw something in Miss Johnson. And then give the Knicks credit. Of all the people they interviewed when they let Tom Thibodeau go, which was a tough they moved for the Knicks. They took a lot of criticism. I mean, a lot of people thought that was a bad move. And now you look at this, and it was the right move for the Knicks. Mike Brown was the right guy at the right time. And DJ, I just think it's a reminder that in all sports, when you give people of different walks of life an opportunity to excel and get out their way and let them do their job, look at the outcome.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Sam, thank you so much. You know how we feel about you here. And thank you for blessing the Sportsvisions Nation this morning with those wonderful nuggets. Hey, look, you have a wonderful day and enjoy the finals tonight.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Thanks, Sam.
That's Sam the Great. Tell you, man, this guy got it out of the mud, and he's such a tremendous storyteller. I didn't even get an opportunity to go into the media aspect of his career because here's a guy that played, coached, and of course he's a very, very intelligent media personality today, an analyst. And man, we didn't even get to touch the surface on his media. And again, I wanted to ask him a question about all these damn basketball players with these podcasts telling all these secrets, man. I'm not just I got to get him next time on. We got to ask him about that.
Definitely.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WOTC HD2 Sportsvisions 921. This is the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
When the mood in, little Cupid looking like a student.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Sportsvisions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Tiffany Maddox with a look at your morning's headlines. The Columbus City Council chambers were packed Tuesday night as the council took up the first reading of a proposed technology overlay district. The reading was not explicitly about a data center in Columbus, rather new rules to set standards if one is ever proposed in the city. Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court is allowing Alabama to use a congressional map favoring Republicans in this year's midterm elections. The High Court's order blocks a lower court ruling that the map intentionally discriminates against Black people. And as summer travel ramps up, blood donations are dropping, and local blood centers say the need is becoming critical. LifeSouth says the shortage is already hitting critical levels, especially for type O blood. Officials say one donation could make a life-saving difference. For WRBL News 3, I'm Tiffany Maddox. Make it a great day.
Good Wednesday morning. Clouds are moving out, leaving behind a clear start by daybreak with temperatures in the 60s. Plenty of sun through the morning. Afternoon high temperatures reach 80 later today, while breezy at times and clear and a slight chill as we go overnight with those lows falling into the mid 50s. A calm and quiet forecast through the end of the week. We are tracking rain chances arriving back into the forecast by Sunday.
To get the full story, visit sportsvisions921.com and click on the WRBL tab. Sportsvisions 92.1.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. Fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number.
800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. That's 800-890-7021.
Gotta get to Gill's Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gill's. Selection and price. Got to get to Gill's. Gotta get to Gill's.
Happy 40th anniversary to Gill's Auto Sales. This will be a year-long celebration with inventory and deals like you haven't seen in a long time. Every lot in Gill's' lineup is stocked with a car, truck, or SUV that you've been dreaming about. Hey, want to save more than ever before on the vehicle of your dreams during the 40th anniversary celebration? You gotta get to Gill's. Covering local and national sports. This is the Sportsvisions Morning Show on Sportsvisions 92.1. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Green Bay Packers. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
It all came so easy, all the love that you gave me, the feelings we shared.
Welcome back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Our hearts are heavy. The best balladeer that of my time, People Bryson, has passed away. He's an award-winning guy that's voice behind the Oscar award-winning Disney classic Beauty and the Beast and A Whole New World. And he also captivated audiences with timeless R&B classics, including Feel the Fire and I'm So Into You, Can't Stop the Rain, and If You're Ever in My Arms Again is what you're here listening to right now. Hey, man, listen, I thought I was People Bryson at one time. I do a little singing on the side, if you notice. There's a few ballads here and there, but when Peebo was out, man, I took pride in not only buying his album, but I had the opportunity to perform in Green Bay. We had a variety show, a fundraiser there for one of the local charities, and there's a couple of guys on the team, Gary Ellison and I can't remember who the other guy was, but we had a little group, and each one of us went up and sang a song. I sung one of Peebo's songs, man, because he was one of my all-time great. I'm a closet balladeer.
Yeah.
And this guy was tremendous, man.
When it comes to ballads, I put him up there in that list with Luther Vandross, James Ingram.
Oh, yeah.
So many great ballads. He was part of that genre of those. I would call them power ballads, love ballads.
Yeah.
You call them love ballads. I mean, he was an R&B singer, but, this was songs that you played for your significant other during Valentine's Day. And, he's truly going to be missed. I was shocked. I know that I saw on the news that he suffered a stroke, but he passed, and that's a tremendous loss for the music world.
For more than 5 decades, Peebo's extraordinary voice served as the soundtrack to some of the life's most cherishing moments, and I can understand that. He transitioned peacefully at 5 p.m. Eastern time on the evening of yesterday, and of course, he was surrounded by loved ones in his family and those closest to him. So. Again, Peebo Bryson gone on to glory, and I tell you what, his music will definitely be here to for us to continue to celebrate his life and legacy.
Yeah, no question about it. And I remember as a kid where he had that song on the soundtrack for Aladdin, A Whole New World with Regina Bell.
Yeah,
and he comes out with "I Can Show You the World."
Oh boy, Richard, you got to
from Atlanta.
You know what? You used to be in that gospel choir. Growing up?
No, DJ, I could sing a little bit. I was in choir in college.
I tell you, but well, we love Peebo, and hopefully, your prayers go out to his family and friends, and again, he's going to be missed. Listen, Sam Mitchell, man, I tell you, what can I say? Every time we talk to him, this guy is he's phenomenal with regards to, having a person. And then we take great pride on this show, the Sportsvisions morning show, of having, guests, but not only guests, but guests that are informative, guests that educate, and guests that are entertaining, just kind of like what our mantra is here. And Sam, again, we talked about, the struggles of him getting to college and we didn't even talk about the high school, phase of course, because he says he got cut, in the ninth grade. He got cut off the junior varsity team. And again, his buddy Mark Upshaw, who he partners with right now, and they're still great friends in the Sam Mark Foundation. Sam Mark. That's why you hear Sam Mark. Sam and Mark. They came together to, of course, form this nonprofit and this wonderful camp, and they've been doing great business for over 20 years. I had the pleasure of starting the first camp and putting it together for those guys, and of course, seeing that get off the ground. But these guys are lifelong friends, and Mark Upshaw, believe it or not, he was in my era, of course, in that 79, 80, 81, of course, Mark Upshaw was the best thing since sliced bread around here. And of course, Sam was a young kid that was tall and skinny and lanky, and Mark just took a liking to him and wanted to adopt him as his little brother. Pretty much, that was his little brother, because Mark didn't have any brothers, had sisters. And Mark would tell the story about how he used to go and go by Sam's house and find him and make him work out and make him play basketball, because that's what he saw in him. And again, Sam gives the credit to Mark for being the guy that he was, to staying on him, going and chasing him out, riding on bicycles through Columbus for miles, trying to get in shape, and just a whole, just a tremendous story. But the bottom line is this kid, this little lanky, goofy kid that is the baby brother of one of the most famous basketball players to have ever come out of Columbus, Georgia, Professor Moose Leonard. Mm-hmm. Sam Mitchell is his baby brother. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't put those two together, yeah. But he is. And man, I tell you what, so proud of the guy, so proud of the man that he has become, not just the player, not just the coach, but the man, and all the great things that he's done and will continue to do as far as pouring into our youth, because he didn't have to come back home. Like many they go off, they don't come home. But for over 20 years, he comes home. He makes his home between Atlanta and Canada and some other places where he's worked, and but he'd always come home in the summer, and that camp is coming up real soon as well. We'll make an announcement. It'll come up in July. Yeah, in about a month and a half, it'll be coming up. But Sam Mitchell, he's truly been a pioneer in this area, and I can't imagine what it was like to go watch him play high school basketball alongside Mark Upshaw. And you also had the girls matchup with Loretta Cobb. So you're going to see Columbus, the girls and the boys play in that gymnasium. That had to have been a sight to see as a basketball fan in the early 80s. But I got to ask you, DJ, when Sam Mitchell was playing for the Wisconsin Flyers in the CBA, 1985, right. I'm trying to put two and two together. Yep. You were playing for the Green Bay Packers. Absolutely. So did you guys have connected in 85 when he was in the CBA? It's funny that normally Sam would make mention as he's telling the story, but he was saying to me that, and again, as he tells the story, him coming and playing in the CBA, he was down in La Crosse, Wisconsin, I believe it was. And he was like, DJ, I sent a message to you and I couldn't get through to you. I'm like, dude, how do you not call your homeboy, because he said, I was right up the road playing for the Packers, but it's real funny how he tells the story. Of course, he fudges it a little bit, saying how I basically looked down my nose at him. That was not by any stretch of the imagination, but our paths didn't cross. And again, I didn't really know it and realize that he was playing in the CBA, because I was, so in tune to and in line with what I was doing. But had he come to Green Bay, or had he given me a call, or had I gotten a message that Sam Mitchell was right down the road, man, he would have been in Green Bay every home game if I had anything to do with it. Yeah, I just love the fact that you guys were both athletes coming up at the same time. And
I'm sure Carver played Columbus a
Yes, we did.
lot, and you had that rivalry, and I think it's great that athletes networking with each other, and I'm glad that we're able to after all these years, Sam Mitchell pouring back to this community and you having him here on the Sportsvisions Morning Show. And it was a great interview.
Absolutely. And again, and one other thing that he normally he tells this story, and I know he told it that when at the basketball awards luncheon back in March, is that he said, I ruined his football career. Again, in high school, Sam, when he figured out that he didn't want to play basketball and he wasn't as talented as he thought he should have been, being a big, tall, 6'5" kid, he wanted to be play football, and he just so happened to wanted to be a cornerback. And go figure, a 6'5" cornerback.
6'5" cornerback.
And of course, I was doing my thing, and as well, we aired it out, and we didn't win a whole lot of games, but boy, were we exciting to watch. We would put up numbers. I throw for 300 yards a game, 4 touchdowns a game. I mean, it was crazy. But Sam Mitchell was on the corner. I saw him, and I knew that Marshall Archie was going to be. This was going to be a field day, so. I had to threw 2 touchdowns at Sam, and he tells that story. He said after that game, he could not go to the mall. He couldn't go to the popular places that, how kid hangouts where the kids would be, the high school kids would be. We had Columbus Square Mall, which is right where the city annex is, the city of Columbus's annex, as well as the library. That was our mall. That was the only mall in Columbus, Georgia at that time during the 70s and the 80s until they built, of course, Peachtree Mall. But long story short, all the popular places, Carver Park and Flat Rock Park and out to Columbus Square Mall, where the kids will all hang out. After that game and after that embarrassment, Sam says that he could not show his face without them, teasing him about how he was beat for 2 touchdowns that I threw against him. But again, he went on to be a tremendous talent. And again, I just love his story because, again, it's something there for everybody. It's something there for the kids that develop late. It's something there for the kids that, that want to work hard. And it's something there for, kids that, everything you can think about as far as all the ups and downs and trials and tribulations of trying to chase greatness. He's got it in his story.
Yeah. And he went on and had a great career after Columbus, going to Mercer, and he one of the greatest players to ever come out of Mercer. Had them to get into an NCAA tournament appearance in 1985, where they did lose to Georgia Tech, but they go on and have a pretty successful CBA career. But I remember when he went to Indiana, he goes from Minnesota to Indiana, and now Indiana's winning. He's on a team with Reggie Miller, Dale Davis, Antonio Davis, Rick Smits. That was a loaded team, and his role kind of diminished a little bit, but he was on a team that was trying to win a championship. And I remember those battles. He probably could tell you about those battles that Indiana had against New York, and then going back to Minnesota and being able to help develop Kevin Garnett. And then that's where you knew that he was going to end up being a coach, because he was that player coach on the court to the tail end of his NBA career. And his NBA career has definitely had all the accolades, and we appreciate everything that Sam Mitchell did, especially in the basketball community.
Absolutely. One other special moment in my life, as far as, since I, again, retired from the NFL. And again, I got stories that I can say, but one with Sam Mitchell is that when he won NBA Coach of the Year in 2007, and of course, I may mention that I started with Mark Upshaw and Sam's camp here in Columbus, and we became not only continue to be great friends, but we were business mates, if you will, because again, I put together their rosters, their camp itinerary, their mission statement, the whole 9 yards back in the early 2004, 5-ish, and but he won NBA Coach of the Year, and something happened where I think Mark could not make it there. He was on business. He had a business appointment that he could not go to Toronto. So I flew up in his place and had the opportunity of course, accepting the award with Sam and as the Toronto, franchise was able to put together this program. And I had one of the best times of my life, not only just celebrating with a friend, but being in Toronto. For the very first time, and those of you who know Toronto is very much like New York City. And I'll tell you what, I was a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, that would have been awesome just to go overseas. And yes, Canada is overseas. Toronto is a city I've never been to. but I know that all you need is just a birth certificate to go into Canada. You don't need a passport. I learned this when I was in college because my choir actually went on fall tour in Canada, and I couldn't get my birth certificate in time, so I couldn't go. But that had to have been a great experience just to go into Canada, which you can like go back and forth, right? Because Toronto, right near Buffalo, I mean, very easy access into the United States, and I think that had to have been
you better have your passport with you though.
Yeah, passport just in case, like birth certificate could get lost or something. But yeah, that would have been a great experience, and that's definitely one of those things. I would love to go to Toronto in the future.
It's been a fantastic day. Of course, take me back, or actually a Wayback Wednesday, if you will. And but we'll go ahead and take our final break of the day and let you know that you're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
I have a friend, about 50, had a bad accident and couldn't go back to work. If you're between the ages of 49 and 63 and can't go back to your job because of a physical or mental disability, Social Security could pay you as much as $3,800 a month. If you or a family member is unable to work because of a disability, call the Social Security Disability Helpline. Our team will give you a free case review and explain to you how much money you're entitled to. And you won't pay anything unless we get you benefits. See if you or a family member is entitled to close to $45,000 a year in Social Security disability funds. Remember, this is not something for people over the age of 65. If you're under 65 and can't work, call now.
800-413-7642. 800-413-7642. That's 800-413-7642.
Want to win a brand new Chevy Trax? Visit SonsChevrolet.com to register and get details. New location coming soon. Sons Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
You guys just didn't want it bad enough. That should have been an easy win. What were you doing out there? You got to hustle. You could have made that play if you'd been open.
On the car ride home after the game, when you think you're helping by telling me what I did wrong and what I need to work on, all I hear is that I'm not good enough, that I'm supposed to be perfect, that it's not okay to lose. On the car ride home, all I need to hear is how much you love me and enjoy watching me play, that my worth isn't determined by my performance, that even on my worst day, I am worthy, that you see me learning, growing, and doing my best. And that is enough.
This message presented by the GHSA and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish@wish.org.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans, do you have a copy of your DD-214? A DD-214 is a DoD certificate of retirement, separation, or discharge from active duty. It verifies your eligibility for benefits and services. The fastest way to request a copy is through the National Archives and Records Administration at archives.gov. Get the benefits you've earned.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show, the final segment of today. Richie, in about 8 minutes or 9 minutes or so, Wednesday's show will be in the books. And I tell you, we've had a tremendous day. Big shout out to Sam Mitchell. I tell you, it's always a pleasure to talk to Sam. And I love him. Like I said, I love hearing those stories and love him telling his story to the Sports Visions Nation.
Yeah, we really appreciate every time Sam Mitchell comes on the show, and I can't wait. I got a month and a half away from the San Mark Dream to Achieve basketball camp, and last year we were there. We were live streaming some of the games, and I know that we're going to be there once again. And such a great camp he does with Mark Upshaw and Gil Williams, the father of Grant Williams, very involved. And of course, Corey Black. I mean, if anybody that's in the basketball community, a who's who comes out and supports. And it's really great that he and Mark Upshaw able to give back to the community, not only with their basketball awards luncheon, but also with the camp that they do. And it was great having him on the show once again.
I don't know if you've been around long enough, but, they had tours every year that they would go on different tours. And again, I remember one year we went to Washington, D.C. To visit the White House and all the wonderful monuments in New York. And we took a nice, I think a group of about 25 or 30 kids, man. And it's nothing like, I was like one of the kids because I had never been to see all the Washington monuments, and being there with kids, and it was just a great thing. These guys have been tremendous over the years of what they've been able to do. Of course, the few sponsors that they have, but exposing these kids, and one of their mantras is obviously showing a kid something that he's never seen before, taking them to places that they've never seen, and doing things that they've never done. And that was kind of the thing, and with them going in, and they've been to we had an opportunity. We've taken a cruise down there. We took a group of kids on a cruise, and we've been to the Space Science Center up in Huntsville. Each and every year for the past 20 years plus, these guys have been reached into the old treasure chest and pulled off something for these amazing kids. And what I know that they both were born and raised here, and I know that Mark and Sam both were poured into by mentors and coaches and family. But, they're both now successful businessmen and doing their thing. And but to find it in their hearts to come back each and every year, and with this camp and these tours and whatever else that they come up with, it's amazing. They've been really, really diligent and loyal to the young people in this community.
Yeah, no question. They have definitely had an impact in this community, especially in the basketball world. When you talk about their times playing at Columbus, Mark Upshaw would go on to play at Rhode Island, and then Sam Mitchell playing at Mercer, and then Sam Mitchell going to have an NBA career. I think that if you're a basketball player in this community, to know that we've had players that have been able to make it to the NBA, why can't I? And so I think that's great that we have Sam Mitchell, Mark Upshaw pouring back into this community. And
when you think about it, they've been around over 20 years doing this. And, you add 20 years on to the average teenager that they were in the camp phase. You're talking about kids in their 30s, basically kids Thrift's age. Thrift was a camper, but, these guys, what they've done, whether these kids remember them or not individually, I'm sure they do remember, but they certainly remember their first experiences. Can you imagine going to Washington, D.C., and you hadn't been outside of Columbus or outside the Chattahoochee Valley, going on a cruise for the very first time, flying and going. And like I said, I don't have a list of all the trips that they've taken over the years, but these experiences are experiences of a lifetime that these two guys, have made possible for the kids in our community over the past 20 years.
Absolutely. There are some kids out there that they've never been on a plane. And so they got to be on a plane for the very first time. And it's just an awesome moment. And I'm glad that Sam and Mark have been able to give back to the community the way they've been doing.
Kudos to Mark and Sam. Now, of course, let's talk about game one tonight. I know Sam said that he picked the Knicks to win the series, and he said that he figured that the Spurs would make it there. I'm going to go on the record and say I'm with the New York Knicks as well. And the only thing that bothers me, as great a basketball as they have been playing and demolishing my Hawks and Cleveland and all the other folks in between, they've been off an awfully long time. And I'm wondering if that will have an effect on the New York Knickerbockers.
Yeah, the big question is rest versus rust. If the Knicks are going to take game one, they got to do it here, especially with this situation with the Spurs just coming off of a 7-game series. And it's experience going up against the young team. But I think it's not going to matter. They got to find a way to stop Wemby. But I like the Knicks in game one. But it's going to be a long series. I could see Spurs in 7. I could see Knicks in 7. It's a toss-up because I think that these two teams are pretty evenly matched, even though they have different styles.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about here before we actually end the show is that, the ticket prices in New York versus San Antonio, man, there's a tremendous difference. Obviously, we know that, New York is, it's a big city. It's a major metropolitan area, the number one city in the United States. And there's a lot of people there with discretionary funds and monies, and there's a lot of very wealthy people that live there. But San Antonio is that's not chopped liver. It's not New York, but certainly it's definitely has its advantages as well.
Yeah, a small market team in the state of Texas with no state taxes. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to take advantage of trying to go to these games because they are affordable compared to Madison Square Garden. So I can't wait for this NBA Finals.
Yes, indeed. Hey, look, the Columbus Clingstones are up in around Huntsville area, but they're playing the Rocket City Trash Pandas, and they play tonight on right here on Sportsvisions 92.1. 6:05 start, is it?
Yeah, 6:05 because it's Central Time, so it's probably going to be 8:05 start. And you'll get to hear Jack Johnson and the voice of the Columbus Clingstones as we are your official flagship station for the Clingstones.
So I'll have the radio going in the background, and I'll have the television monitor on the NBA Finals. So I'll be kind of double dipping tonight.
Oh, of course. You definitely got to listen to the Clingstones and watch the NBA Finals at the same time. And that's what a sports fan does, is multitask and watch multiple games all at once.
And don't forget the Atlanta Braves, of course. Hosting the Toronto Blue Jays at Truist Park.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy week when it comes to sports. I cannot wait for the Super Regionals, and we got the Stanley Cup Finals, NBA Finals. It's just an incredible time to be a sports fan.
Yes, indeed. Well, hey, listen, Richard, it's been a great day, but I tell you, like I said before, Wednesday's show is in the books. Hump Day is officially done. Now, only less than 48 hours from the weekend, man. I tell you,
we go.
We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. You hear the music, you know what that means. That's going to do it for this edition of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. On behalf of Richard Holdridge, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
You've been listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is Sportsvisions 92.1.
I try to live, but I can't. I don't know why you're the one. Turn me out of my mind. You don't need no other body. You don't need no other body. Only you feel on my body. Only you feel on my body. You don't need no other body. Say I made it mess up my mind, and I made it make it free of your mind. Say your body talk to me nice. Say now my love you didn't need for your life. Yeah.
Sons Chevrolet is moving to our brand new home on Woodley Boulevard, and we're celebrating.